Pfizer Olay Fatang biscuit barrel of MI5 revealed that this week we're doomed.
Oh, right, yeah.
They're totally overstretched. They cannot cope with the workload. They need more government help. It must be the time of year that they put in their budget requests. It's the end of the financial year for the spooks.
Oh, right, yeah.
I mean, why would they come out with all that stuff now? Here's a happy Christmas present from us at MI5. The first Christmas adverts have brightened up our TV screens. Not for this Christmas, they're for Christmas 2007. They get earlier and earlier every year. And George Bush is giving a mid-term drubbing in the polls. The Democrats won a majority in the Senate and the House of Representatives. Whatever that means. No one has any idea. And he puts together his plan to see out the rest of his presidency in a fruitful and ambitious way. He's such a dope. He probably is, their version of our spooks, FBI or CIA. Which is it? FBI is internal, CIA is external. CIA are probably, every time you mention the word Bush, either in email or, out loud, someone somewhere is logging it. By a computer. And then they'll flag it up later to see who they will, send someone over and shoot. That's exactly what they do. So the people behind the glass should introduce themselves and tell us what was the first album they ever bought. This is going to be embarrassing. Truth, please.
My name is Lucy, and the first album...
Hello, Lucy.
Hello, Nick.
Come in here and give us a hug.
Don't touch me! I'll kill you!
I didn't buy it, but I did ask for it. My father bought it for me, and it is embarrassing. I think Jennifer Rush.
Jennifer Rush?
Yeah.
What, flash dancing? Oh, no, that's somebody else. That was Jennifer Beal.
The Power of Love.
Go on, sing us a little bit.
No, I'm not.
Oh, go on, please.
No, because it's one that Celine Dion covered as well. Later on, but she did the original. It was good, though.
But that's not really the first album that you bought.
Not that I went out to buy, no.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Do women buy music? You don't like cars, you don't like football, don't like music, what do you like?
Oh, I do like music, but my range...
I beg to differ. Jennifer Rush?
Well, yeah, but that was a long time ago.
Right.
But when I buy music, I buy lots of different music.
Coldplay, stuff like that, is it?
Not really Coldplay,
Dido.
No. I was into The Cure for a long time.
Oh, dear. Yeah, he still wears his haircut like that. He still actually looks like that. Can you believe it? He must be 50 years old.
Originally, he didn't used to look like that. He didn't used to put all that makeup on.
At some point, you have to stop.
Yes.
Because you just look silly. I mean, see Boy George above.
Yeah.
Although Boy George seems to carry it off better than,
Better than... Oh, no. What's his name now?
No, The Cure.
Yeah. Robert someone?
Robert Smith.
That's
yeah,
it,
is the correct answer.
Oh, can't I have a ding? Yeah. Sorry, what was I saying? What you were saying?
I don't know. It sounded like you were repeating a conversation you were having with your husband last night. Can't I have a ding?
One letter out of place.
Yes.
You're looking at 10 inches!
Oh, stop it. We've only just begun.
We've only just begun. Sing us that one.
No.
So, yes, what was the first album you actually bought?
I honestly couldn't tell you. That's appalling, isn't it? But I really couldn't tell you. I have no idea.
What was the last album you bought?
Well, I tend to get it off the internet now.
What, illegally?
No.
Right, well, that's buying it.
Oh, okay. I think of going into a shop and handing over my money.
Oh, no, that's very old-fashioned. No one does that anymore.
It does take the fun out of it. Well, I tend to buy often just a track these days that I fancy.
Right. It does take the fun out of it, you're right. Just downloading it and putting it on your own
it's too easy.
Burnt CD. There's no thing of it.
No.
It's similar, but worse than the change from LPs to CDs. Because LPs, Alex will back me up on this, used to be nice things to have and hold. A double gatefold sleeve was a marvellous work of art and the correct size. Well, you don't go into a gallery and see something that's the size of a truncated postcard, do you?
No.
Very seldom. They're usually bigger than that.
And you usually think about it before you go, don't you? When you used to go to a shop, you'd have already... or maybe that's a girl thing. You'd think about the album you were going to buy.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So then you'd leaf through, find one, and... I don't know, it was a whole experience, and it felt personal.
Yeah.
But now it doesn't feel personal.
Well, getting the vinyl out of the sleeve used to be an almost religious event, and you'd, if it was Pink Floyd or some band like that, you'd check to see how long the tracks were, even on the bus before you got home. And you'd see that if you've just bought Animals, for instance, one track would be almost the entire side of an album, and you'd be thrilled, and there'd be just this tiny little track at the end of it, and you think, oh, what could that be? You can't do that with a CD, because it's just... there's no touchy-feeliness about it. Vinyl was alive, and so was the cardboard that it came in, but CDs come in these impersonal, dead plastic sleeves.
And now you don't even need a CD.
I know, yeah. It's, the romance has gone out of it.
It has a bit,
Yes.
yeah. Because also I think it's meant that everyone's music taste is just so big now that you don't necessarily have a genre of music that you're into.
Oh,
so
she
much.
used the G word.
Was that bad? But, because you should listen to everything because you have access to everything now. So
Yes.
you can just buy a track rather than an album.
But in a sense, it also has opened people's minds, because people are very, they move in tribes, mentally and otherwise. So I like jazz music, for instance, to the exclusion of everything else people would say, which is a silly position to hold. Or I only like classic rock from the 70s, which is daft. These days you go on a website and then you pick up something by Bad Company, for instance, and it'll say, hey, if you like that, you might like this that's just been made. So I think people's tastes have been broadened by buying it off the net, but there's no, it's not sexy anymore.
No. Can you remember the first album you bought?
Yes, absolutely, and I stand by it. And I don't know for why, but there's just been a blizzard of publicity about this band saying, hey, you know what, these, everyone thought that these were embarrassing, but actually they're really cool. People, I don't know, the press run in packs. One columnist will say something from left field, and then the following week, everybody is suddenly saying it. I think it's because columnists sit down in their squalid little flat with a blank piece of paper in front of them and got no idea what to write. And so what they do is they just pick up a newspaper and they copy what somebody else has written. And then when everybody has expressed that opinion, they're back again at square one. They've got nothing to write. So they have the brainwave of, oh, I know, I'll just write the opposite to what I wrote last week. Last week I wrote, oh, yes, it is. This week I'm going to write, oh, no, it isn't. So the entire thing just flips within about a week or so, and then they have to go on to something else.
So you picked something cool, did you, for your
Well,
first?
apparently, yeah.
What did you pick?
Sheet music, which I say very carefully, by 10cc,
Right.
which I still think, having not heard it for decades, is an excellent album.
Well, you've probably got cool music taste, so it's not embarrassing when you
Hey!
admit it. But you see, if you've got really poor taste, it's really embarrassing to then admit what you used to buy, isn't it? Yeah.
Not that you've admitted anything yet.
No, I can't remember.
Just something that your dad bought you.
Yeah.
What about you, Alex? Bound to be something.
This is the first thing I bought with my own money.
Yes.
I remember it actually quite well, and it was on cassette, which is probably... I didn't have a record player.
Oh, I remember cassettes.
So I had to buy a cassette, and it was between REM Out of Time or Talking Heads, Little Creatures, and I remember being in the shop for about an hour and a half with both one in each hand, trying to decide. I knew one song off of each album, and in the end I went with Talking Heads.
Because of the cover?
Yeah, I like
the cartoon cover.
Yeah, so I think that was the cooler choice.
Yeah, me too.
The album in that.
Having had to play REM every 5 minutes in a previous job, I just can't listen to them anymore. If it wasn't REM, it was Blondie, over and over and over again. Painful.
With cassettes, I used to record it as well off the radio. I know, it's really naughty, wasn't it? I know. Well, I would never do that now.
You know, the governing body of the music business, whatever that is, has recently started stamping its little feet, its expensively shod heels, saying that how dare people buy a CD in a store and then put it on their MP3 players. We want people to buy the CD and then download it again to put on their MP3 players.
Well, that's outrageous.
Isn't that outrageous?
Yeah. If you've paid for it, it's yours.
Well, apparently not. You can only pay for it in each format. If you want to stick it on your MP3 player, you are breaking the law.
That is ridiculous.
By putting your CD onto your little machine. It's true.
That's like saying you can only listen to it in the kitchen. And another one in the dining room.
Correct. It's like buying a book and reading it at home, but if you want to take it out and read it on the train, you have to go and buy another copy because you're reading it in another place. Isn't that an outrageous position to hold? Incredible.
Really does.
And no wonder everyone hates them. No wonder their entire customer base is nicking stuff off the internet.
Exactly.
Or buying it in Russia for next to nothing at all.
Really?
That all of MP3 site. I think it's some staggering statistic, like a quarter of all internet traffic is going through this Russian site where you can buy tracks to a minute fraction of that which they're selling on iTunes and sites like that. They're giving it away in Russia.
Oh, right. So that's a new one to look up.
Well, it's not a new one. It's
well, for me.
It's been there a good long while, and they're furious about it. America may, in fact, go to war with Russia over this one issue.
Over music.
Yes, that's right.
Well, at least there's a reason then.
Yeah. They could go to the war with Russia about gas while they're at it. A twofer. Save time. This is LBC.
Nick Ferrari. How does he make...
I'm listening, dear. You can talk to me.
Nameless in Bracknell.
Nameless?
That's what it says here. It says nothing at all.
The man with no name. He came from Bracknell out of the depths of suburban Berkshire to talk to Nick Abbott live on LBC Radio Saturday evening at... What's the time?
Well, at least you made it out of Slough.
No, don't dish Slough. Everybody dishes Slough, including... John Betjeman, and the bombers didn't come, and it's still there.
I know, he's very upset. It killed him.
Did it?
The disappointment, yeah.
Oh, I see, disappointment, yeah.
He apologised from the grave. Why would he do that? Slough stank out loud then, and it still does. It's hideous.
It's an interesting place between Langley and Burnham.
Yeah, right near Taplow and Crouch End, yeah. Not Crouch End, that's somewhere else.
Listen, sorry, I mean, some people who haven't got huge amounts of money because they're not radio presenters have to live in the poorer areas of our wonderful country, and don't dish the people of Slough because...
I won't dish them. I might diss them, but I won't dish them. That's my guarantee to you.
Thank you, that's good, because it makes them feel better, and they might even tune in and listen and contribute positively.
No, we don't want them.
Oh, that's elitist, isn't it? It's not allowed to be elitist nowadays. We're all egalitarian and equal and together.
I know, look where it's got us. So what's up, Jethro?
We had this conversation last week. Do you want to know the woes of the world? Is that an invitation to say what do you want to talk about?
I retract my last question.
Right. I was trying to connect into your conversational subject about music, as opposed to music, which is something horrible and offensive that you hear in shops when they want to encourage you to buy and lull you into a sort of state of psychology where you go around without any critique buying everything they've got on the shelves.
I haven't heard Christmas music in shops yet, but it's bound to be just days away.
Yeah, well, it's something frightening to look forward to, isn't it?
Actually, that's about the worst thing about Christmas is the constant cheer coming from the PA system in the supermarket. I don't mind Christmas adverts on TV. Some of them are quite good. I'm looking forward to the Coke one, where the train comes out of the fireplace. I like that one.
Is it the Coca-Cola one or the White Line one?
Yeah, Columbia has got together. They've, the Medellin cartel have chucked a few pounds at ITV, who've, taken it as a backhand. And thought, oh, well, yeah, all right, why not?
They've gone to legitimate international corporations selling high-quality... non-addictive bourgeois drugs to the high city,
the proletariat
of London and other major.
I know a supermodel who could front the campaign. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think who you're talking about at all. No idea whatsoever.
Her and her feckless, dumpy boyfriend.
But I think we might be thinking about Stones and not Rolling.
No.
Oh, okay. To get back to the original topic.
There was a topic?
I'm sure the people of London are highly interested in this, but my original album that I first bought and initiated into the degenerate phenomenon that is.
Oh, good. Yeah, please tell. I didn't ask, but go ahead.
I thought perhaps we're leading there. Rock and roll was Led Zeppelin 4 with the famous Stairway to Heaven song. Rock and roll. That's the one.
That's a very good first choice.
Yeah, covered by no less than Rolf Harris, I think.
Oh, are they going to invite Rolf Harris back to Glastonbury? Because that's a joke that's gone too far. You know, I mean, putting on at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday when everyone's still flying from Saturday night is one thing, but just to invite him back, I mean, oh, come on, he's not cool. It's just ridiculous.
I think
the only thing that was funny about Rolf Harris is that portrait that he did of the Queen, which I think is still, might be still on show. If you live outside London, then it's worth coming in just to see that. You're like a belly. You're not allowed to laugh out loud in Buckingham Palace. I think it's against the law, but you'll be able to stifle it and bust a gut once you leave.
Can I just say one thing positively in favour of Rolf Harris's portrait of the Queen?
No.
All right, I won't then.
It makes her fingers look like a packet of wall sausages. It's hideous. What she must have thought when she took a look at it, because she could get any artist in the world to come and take her picture. Her, immediate relatives had, the most famous artists who ever lived paint them. They're all over the walls. She gets Rolf Harris. What has she done to deserve that?
Well, I think she's perhaps trying to go down the unconventional sort of royal portrait route, wasn't she? The usual guys paint very dull, boring pictures that are almost photographic in their quality, whereas I think she was trying to get sort of more impressionistic.
No. What happened there was the PR department said, you're not very popular at the moment, you Madge, so perhaps we should get somebody who's on TV, and that's the crux.
Yeah.
Because people love him, they said. So the two of you together, it'll be made in heaven. And they constructed a special room to show it in, because they didn't... almost like a contagious body. They didn't want that quality of art to bleed into the rest of the collection.
So what was it? It was an Antipodean of ex-criminal descent painting a woman of Germanic origins who's our head of state in a style that resembles someone on LSD.
Never one to use one syllable when six will do, eh? Have you got a job yet?
I have actually, yeah.
Doing what?
I'm transporting parcels around Great Britain. It's fantastic.
You're a postman. Actually got up off his wobbly bottom and started to contribute to society. Can you believe it?
Yeah, well, the two reasons for that was I had a secret look at the government's accounts, and I realised that unless people started to work and didn't just sponge off the government, then we were going to go downhill very rapidly. So I decided to take the lead. Right,
so you become a postman for Christmas?
No, it's a French word, courrier. Postman's very common, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, you get them all over the place. I am a one-off courrier.
Right, and he accused me of elitism. So he's going to be delivering parcels until Christmas, after which he'll be sat vacant, gawping at Trisha again.
No, that drives me to work. That does.
You know, that afternoon TV, it's so depressing. Not just the programmes that are on, which are depressing. Jeremy Kyle. Oh, my God, I want to kill myself. But the adverts that are in between the programmes, it's just so awful. Because you know... Well, I mean, the adverts themselves are bad. But you know that everything that they're playing is to people who are having a horrible life. Yeah. It's people who want to cash in their life insurance policies. It's, have you had an accident in the last 10 years?
Zimmer frames?
If not, why are you sitting here watching this?
There's advertisements for Zimmer frames, for non-slip bath mats, and for those chairs that take you up all the way to the top of the stairs to the house you can't afford anymore because your council tax is too high.
It's just so depressing watching them.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
It's KTL and Ronson. Are they still advertising things like cat hair removers that you know, with sticky pads on the...
They used to have something there where you could staple your buttons back on your shirt.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
And and there's a thing that you can make glasses out of old wine bottles. Do you remember those?
Shut up. Yes, Luce, never mind about sewing. No one does that anymore. You just take a stapler and you staple your buttons back on your shirt.
What, with my curtains as well?
Yeah, all of that. I'm sure it would work.
Well, I'm convinced that
Bit of gaffer tape, take up the bottom of them. Lovely.
Is it my turn now?
Oh, God.
I'm convinced that nowadays our money from the education department spent teaching 15 to 16-year-olds how to unpackage microwave meals and put them in the oven to cook them in 3 minutes.
Well, it was wasted on you, wasn't it? I mean, you're sitting there, he's got all of these brains in his head, and he's a courier, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't that awful?
I can tongue and groove,
I bet you can, but that's not going to make you much money.
and I can shellac. I can remember my woodworking lessons, and I can heat up steel and dip it in oil so something happens to it that makes it sort of less likely to rust.
Yes, but can you turn lime water milky?
Lime water milky.
Yes.
Hang on, let me think about that. Lime water milk. Do you add acid?
Oh, no, but thanks for playing. It was Jethro, ladies and gentlemen. Here's one in Boreham Wood. Oh, Mark?
Hi, Nick.
Mark.
Hi, I just wanted to say that if you buy a CD from a shop, you can go and download it off the internet for free, and it's completely legal to do it.
It's not.
It is.
You can download it off the internet for free.
Yeah, once you've bought the CD.
From where?
Like these peer-to-peer
Right.
programs.
OK. That's not the right answer.
Why not?
Well, because they'll arrest you and
They won't.
and spirit you away to a South American country.
No,
You'll be-
it is legal.
You'll be strapped to a chair in a damp room.
Because once you've bought the CD, you've got
Yeah.
like a license for it.
Mm-hmm, sure, right.
And also
It's your parents that are going to get fined, not you.
No, it's because it is legal to do it.
No, it's not. Is that what they're telling each other in the schoolyard?
No.
In between advising each other on the best way to stab people?
No, my music teacher told me.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, he or she is also breaking the law. That is not correct. Once you've bought a CD, that means you can only play the CD, and you can't even play it in a room of several people, because I think that constitutes a public performance.
But they're changing the laws as well, so you can put it onto an MP3 player.
Oh, yeah, like a teenager told to clear up his bedroom. I'm gonna, they say. Yeah, it ain't done it yet, and let's not hold our breath.
Okay.
But in the meantime, what was the last album you bought?
I don't know, I can't remember.
See,
I just download them now.
Just too embarrassing. Well, for free, you mean?
No.
Right.
That fruity make of a music store on the internet.
Well, Apple?
Yeah.
Well, which was the last one you downloaded?
I can't remember.
See, it must be really embarrassing.
It's not.
Yeah, it must be, yeah. It wasn't, Oh, the kids are well into this one. It's wicked.
Hi, now, last year... 3.
How may I help you?
Louise.
Hi, Nick.
Louise.
How are you?
Now, this is, M101, How to Be a DJ. First year. First of all, you have to speak slower. Second, you have to speak so that people can understand you. And third, you have to speak lower. And you started well. You did sound lower than you would ordinarily do.
Thank you.
I hope you're appreciating all of this.
Yes, I am.
You hate me for saying this, don't you?
No, I don't. I don't hate you, even if I wanted to.
Okay.
You were on about CDs looking really ugly. No.
Well, it's not that they look ugly. It's just they're an unsatisfactory product, because the plastic that they come in, those dual sleeves, boxes. There's just nothing nice about them. The hinges break so that the top just comes on and off. It doesn't stay there, and it's not a nice thing to hold. Whereas vinyl is, because cardboard is a warm, kind of alive product, and then it was the artwork is big, like an actual picture. These days you can't see the artwork. It could be a work of a rare genius, but you can't see it 'cause it's so small. And the actual CD itself is it's a bit of shiny but there's nothing nice about them at all. Whereas vinyl was alive, and it was just a much more satisfying product.
Yeah. You should have a look at Head Candy CDs. They're like cardboard. I've got a magnetic strip where you open them.
Yeah, I know.
They kind of fold out, and I think they're real pretty. And I understand.
Because of the cartoon on the front, yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that
there's
they
something
fold out.
unsatisfying about those as well, because when you open them, the CD is supposed to stay in its little plastic
It does.
tray. Well, usually it doesn't. Usually the little...
This one is, and I'm chucking it around.
A little nodule in the middle becomes tired.
Yeah.
And so the CD just sits on it rather than is gripped by it. And so as soon as you pick it up, it's on the floor, and it's better, but it's not it.
I mean, I would actually agree with you with that, the CDs, but I think that they're pretty special. And if I want to buy a CD, I go and buy them, because I think it's more exciting, and it's nice to have something to show for.
Exciting.
Yeah. I like my music, me.
Yeah, you get to use public transport, walk up and down Oxford Street. You never know whether you're going to arrive home alive. Very exciting.
Yeah, but when you get it, it's like, oh, got
you
it.
get stabbed for your money at a cash point.
But you know what I mean. And I still look at the chat listing as well before I get home on the bus.
You do what?
I look at the chat listing as well before I get home on the bus, because I'm like that excited about getting them, about getting a CD.
Right. Well, see, kids today don't have the experience of buying vinyl. For instance, if you go and buy Dark Side of the Moon on CD, it's a very unsatisfying product. But if you bought Dark Side of the Moon as a vinyl album when it first came out, there was no end of things to play with. You had 2 stickers, which were excellent. You put them on your little record box there, or on your window to show other people that you'd actually bought Dark Side of the Moon. And you had 2 big posters and a double gatefold sleeve, and it was just fun for all the family. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got a CD that actually won't play on a PC or a Mac, so that it doesn't get copied onto your computer. You've just got the CD.
Right, they tried to do that, didn't they? Wasn't it Sony that tried to make it so that they put some sort of spyware on the CD? It's probably not the right
I don't know.
technical
It's a
term.
Office CD, and it doesn't work. By the way,
But people were freaking out. How dare you invade my privacy with like this? And then they promptly stopped doing it.
I've managed to put it on the computer, though. I don't know if it's doing it any good, though.
Somebody just cracked iTunes. I just think the whole concept of buying something and you can only play it on a piece of equipment that you also buy from us. Like, you can buy music, but we will tell you what you can play it on. I just find that incredible.
Yeah.
And we're putting up with it. Not only putting up, we're embracing it wholeheartedly and paying over the odds to be told how to run our lives. I won't buy anything from iTunes. Bleep them.
I don't think that many people buy them legally, though. I think most of them do it illegally.
Yeah.
Because it saves them money.
Right, as long as you're obeying Russian law, then you're fine. Yeah. They will go to war about that, by the way, because the American record business, well, I suppose the record business all over the world, which is America and us. Because let's face it, France isn't helping, is it? Name one thing that's ever come from France, a piece of modern music that's not 99 red balloons. You can't.
That was Germany, wasn't it?
Huh?
Wasn't that Germany? 99 red
No,
balloons?
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, okay, we've got one from Germany. Is there anything from France?
Serge
Je
Gainsbourg,
t'aime. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? That's and that's 40 years old.
Daft Punk.
Yeah, I was
Daft
thinking
Punk.
that.
Oh yeah, well you got one there. Okay, they've had 2. We could lose France. We could lose the whole of the rest of Europe, and no one would miss it really. Their musical canon. So it's us and America. Isn't that weird? Only the English-speaking countries in the world have actually been able to produce modern music that anyone would want to own.
Don't French radio stations have to pay
Yes,
a
they
certain
do.
amount of
Yeah.
French songs?
Yeah, because otherwise
ratio
they
to
wouldn't.
English.
Otherwise they'd still be playing wall-to-wall Michael Jackson music like they used to before the French government said, "Un moment." You've got to play this stuff, they said. And everybody in France went, oh, you can't say it. A French word beginning with M, ending in E. E. Lucy's going, what? But, you know, there might be impressionable French youngsters listening to this show, and that would be the only word that they understood, and they'd be running to their mama and papa. I'd be fined off the air. In francs.
Oh dear.
Of course, they don't have francs anymore. I'd have to rummage around in the back of my wardrobe to see if I can come up with some old French money. French money used to look like art that you'd peeled off the wall of a gallery. Do you remember old French money, actual French francs? It was the notes were stunning, just like you'd expect France to come up with. But now it's like something that's just fallen out of a game that you got at Christmas, isn't it? Euros. I mean, just the name of them is bad enough. Euros. I mean, it's the soppiest sounding word you've ever heard in your life, isn't it? Is there a softer word in the whole wide world than euros? I mean, franc starts with an F and ends in a nk. It's solid, and it's hard, and it ends, on a glottal stop. Franc. It's a masculine word. Deutschmark. Well, it doesn't come much more masculine than that. It makes me want to stand to attention just saying it. Pound. See, there's a good solid word. You spit as you're saying it. Pound, you say. But euro, it's like euro. It's like, oh, chase me. It's euro. It's just weak. Couldn't they have come up with another word? I mean, I know it's European, but it doesn't have to be a shortening of European, doesn't it? Surely. Euro. I mean, the objection to the euro would have been less if it hadn't been called the euro, right? I mean, if they just called it the pound and changed it, then people would have been fine with it. Am I right?
Yeah.
It's just that no one wants to go into a shop and hand over €5. Because it's such a long word. Unless you stop yourself, the word itself could go on all day. Euro. There's no end to it. Do you know what I mean? It's weak, and it makes me feel effeminate just saying it, Louise.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought I'd let you have your little
rant.
Yeah.
Well, it was in me and it had to come out.
Yeah.
That's why people don't like that money, is because no one likes to say it.
Euro.
I mean, just mouth it without saying the actual sound. Isn't that embarrassing?
Yeah.
Do it now. Everybody do it. It's awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just feel like a fool. Anyway, have we done you yet?
Yes.
Oh, we have?
Yeah.
What was it you called about?
The CD.
Oh, yeah, CDs, I remember. Funny how you remember, right at the end. Thanks, Louise.
Thanks, bye.
Ta-ta, this is LBC.
Christmas is coming.
So what we doing?
Talking of Christmas lights, like they were on that Nick Ferrari trail, concerns have been raised about the amount of energy used by the Oxford Street Christmas lights. I swear, since that Stern report came out, all I'm seeing now is people who want to save the planet. I see adverts now for companies who are crowing about their low carbon emissions, and none of this was even thought about before this thing came out. I mean, as a nation, we didn't care, did we? We thought it was all a bit amusing, and people who wanted to save the planet were, the type who ate moccasins for breakfast. Nuts, basically. People who crocheted their own beard. Those people. And we just thought it was, funny, a bit silly, people who lived out in the country and conversed with sheep. Like that bloke last week. But now, since this bloke Stern, a chap who no one's ever heard of, an economist, Lucy.
Boring!
He came out with this stuff saying, we're doomed. Everybody's saying, oh yeah, right you are. Okay, well we better completely change our lives now, and I want to be carbon neutral, whatever that means. No one's got any idea. We apparently release 2% of the amount of carbon of all of the countries in the whole wide world. We do, right here in Britain. And the man-made carbon emissions in the whole wide world apparently are 4% of the total. In other words, 96% of the carbon emissions that are going to doom us to being boiled alive or frozen to death or drowned or parched or whatever it is they're predicting, no one has any idea, are responsible, come from the actual planet itself. Isn't that shocking?
It is shocking.
That's a genuine statistic that I just made up.
Well, you said it last week too.
Yeah,
It's
well,
been worrying you, hasn't it?
I read it in the Telegraph, so it must be true.
And how are your showers been this week? Have you spoilt yourself yet? I thought this week, every time I had a shower, I thought, I wonder if one morning Nick
Every
gets up
time you
and
had a
thinks,
shower, you were thinking of me?
Well, I just thought every time I had a long shower that I felt bad about that, because I imagined you just turning it off and turning it on and feeling cold in the shower and unpleasant.
Well, after having done that all summer long, you just get wet, a brief run through just to wet yourself from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively. Then you turn it off and you soap yourself up and down, and then you rinse off, thereby using 1 egg cup full of water per shower. Almost like a Victorian schoolboy's torture.
And I imagine you used a flannel as well. Because that's always what people use, isn't it? For
like a
wash
punishment
down.
shower. Not even in Guantanamo do they have showers like that. But after having done that, now it doesn't seem right to run the shower while you're soaping yourself, because while you're soaping yourself, it's being washed off you at the same time. Therefore, the soap doesn't really get to cling on.
Move to the side slightly.
Yeah.
Well, then, what's the point of that?
Because then you're wasting that water, Alex.
Yeah.
But then
you might as well take an ice pick to your water tank.
It probably uses more energy switching it on and off.
Yes, actually, it must do. That's
energy.
True. Have you got a
that's
booster
what we're all
shower?
about.
Well, not if Nick hasn't got a booster shower.
Is it electric or
I think it just comes
coal-fired?
through by
Normal tap.
by gravity.
Right. No,
Trickles out, it
you're
does.
not using energy then for
No.
that.
Okay.
Well.
So now it just seems weird. But of course now it's freezing cold.
Not so fun.
No.
Are you going to have like a Christmas bath, maybe? Go crazy?
All day.
For my Christmas pizza.
Sit there pickling yourself.
I'll just sit in a darkened corner of the flat with a bag over my head. Would that please you? Anyway, what were we talking about?
You were talking about saving the planet.
Oh, yeah, Christmas lights. Yes, I've seen adverts on the back of buses now for companies saying, hey, come with us. We plant a tree for every customer that we get. Where are all these trees going, by the way? Everybody says, oh, you want to plant a tree to offset the carbon emissions of your holiday. Well, where are those trees going?
I couldn't tell you.
Oxford Street? I mean, aren't there trees... I don't understand. Planting trees, from where they get them, where are they going? I think we're at the cusp of a gigantic con here, because people have realised, the government first, they woke up, all of the parties, with a startled look in their eyes, and thought, good grief, we found it. Nirvana. A way of taxing people up to their eyeballs in a way that they won't mind.
In fact, they'll put their hands in their pockets
Yes.
and give a little bit more.
They'll actually insist upon it. I bet they cannot believe their luck. In fact, I'm very suspicious that this whole report was devised in order to have this exact result, because Gordon Brown would never have asked anyone to do a survey if he did not know what the answer was going to be before he asked. In other words, he said, right, go and see what because he's a man of prudence, right? He's not just going to ask someone willy-nilly a question that may affect his possible future leadership. He knew what the answer was going to be. He just had somebody go and write it down for him, basically. No, I'm sure that he did, a tremendous and impartial job. But I don't think there was a doubt in Gordon's mind about what the actual result of this survey, or whatever you call it, was. And Mr. Stern delivered the goods, right? And so I think they must have thought this through ahead of time. Because what they're doing with our taxes now, we're one of the most taxed countries in the whole wide world. What are they doing with it? No one has any idea, but they just want more.
But they're very, very rich.
Yes. So they needed more, but they knew that if they add another couple of pence on the income tax, then they won't get voted in again. And I'm sure that the parties who all talk to each other, they're all mates in the big game of screwing us, the electorate. They all sat down, had a drink, and thought, you know what, this just might work. And I bet they were overwhelmed with the response, because they must have been a little trepidatious when they put it out and said, you know what, the planet's going to die unless you personally pay another £2,000 in tax every year, each. Ha-ha, they said. What do you think of that? And then they all held their breath and waited. And the press responded positively. And they thought, oh, well, that's the first hurdle. Now what do the people think? And the people were up applauding them. I think that this is possibly the greatest con in history that we're about to have put upon us. Because it's not just the government. The companies are going to do this now too.
So what about our Christmas cards then?
Well, let's hope they're organic. Otherwise you'll all be in big trouble. Let's have, I'll do the Christmas lights thing in a minute, but let's go with South Norwood. It's Mr. Lister.
Good evening, Nick.
Philip.
Before I get to the main reason I called, I don't know if you saw it, but I've got something. If Tallulah's listening with her budgie,
yes,
they're looking for a spokesparrot for the new Pirates of the Caribbean. And they're holding a screen test this week. And I just wondered whether Tallulah was thinking of going along with her budgie.
A spokesparrot?
Yes. I mean, she could, you know, I'm sure they had budgies in the Caribbean.
Well, there's nothing frightening about a budgie, but a parrot on your shoulder would instill fear, I think.
They're
But not
holding
a
a
budgie.
screen test.
That would just instill mirth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she'd get it. She might even get a part herself.
Are they really going to make another one of those things?
Yes, it says it's going to be called Dead Man's Chest.
Oh.
Oh, no, it says... Oh, the second film, they're going to do a new one, but they're looking for talking parrots, and they're going to be held on Thursday at the Disney London headquarters. So if Tallulah's listening, get down there with your budgie.
Go down to Mickey Mouse House. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, she's sure she'll get it. Reason I rang, Nick, you're talking about the first albums you bought.
Yeah.
Well, I've got three of the first ones I bought, 1959. I've got At Large by the Kingston Trio. Do you remember the Kingston Trio?
No.
Oh, well, they were a folk group. But they had, they did Tom Dooley. Do you remember? Hang down your head, Tom Dooley.
Oh, Struth, he's singing now.
Yes, just to illustrate it.
well illustrated, Philip.
And
we'll imagine the rest ourselves.
To me is a classic. It's called MTA. It's a song about a guy who went on the Underground in Boston, and while he was on there, they put the fares up. And it was a circular line, and he said, I'm not paying the increase. So they said, right, you stay on there until you paid it.
Something similar happened to me. I went to Barbican Tube one time. I'd come from poshest Hampstead.
Yes.
I used to live in Hampstead and go to the gym in the Barbican. Can you believe that? It's like it's a 2-hour round trip. That was insane. I did that for about 10 years.
Well, you're going to get somewhere you like.
Out of my mind. Anyway, I went all the way there, and I think my weekly tube pass had expired.
Right.
And they said, right, that's a £10 fine.
Wow.
And I said, yeah, but, I'm an honest, upstanding citizen. I buy a weekly tube pass. Look, there it is. And they said, well, no, we're not having any of that. If you can't, your name's not on the list, you can't come in. That'll be £10, please. And I turned around and said, I cut off my nose to spite my own face. I thought, right, no. And I went all the way back. So I took a 2-hour ride just to the Barbican ticket office, and then went all the way back again, just because I wouldn't,
Well,
cough
it's
up the
very
money.
much like the guy on that song, and they said, no, you can't get off. And to the best of my knowledge, he's still going round and round and round. It says on the song that his wife used to go down to the station every day about 10 to 1 and give him a sandwich through the open window as the train went through.
Nice.
Song's called MTA, if you ever want to hear it.
No.
Kingston Trio. The other two that I've got are Songs for Swinging Sellers by Peter Sellers.
Oh, as opposed to Songs for Swinging Lovers by Frank Sinatra.
This was his first LP with Irene Handel, produced by George Martin. And on it, I've actually got an excerpt set up if you want to hear it.
Was that on it?
No. I've got the one I've got set up is Peter Sellers doing an impersonation of Lonnie Donegan.
That sounds awful.
Well, I'll get to the third one first. Now, this is the guy who was Bill Haley and the Comets, Rock Around the Clock.
Yes. There was something wrong about Bill Haley and the Comets, wasn't
What
there?
was wrong with him?
Because he was 50, even when he was 20. You know what I mean?
Oh, he was great.
He was a fat old geezer playing teenagers' music. There was just something wrong about Bill Haley.
I have got a video of him on the wheel tappers and shunters in the 70s.
Give order.
Oh, he was brilliant. And I never forget, do you remember a great comedian called Colin Crompton?
No.
He was the guy with the cap on the wheel tappers and shunters.
Well, with the bell?
Yes.
The MC?
Yes.
The master of ceremonies?
Yes. And
In case
he had a
MC
Bill
Snowflake
Haley.
is listening, that's what that means.
He had
Sorry,
a go
what?
at Bill Haley because he said he thought it was disgraceful that a person could come on and not comb his hair. Because he had this, as you know, he had this kiss curl.
This pompadour thing, yeah.
Would you like to hear a bit of Peter Sellers?
Do I have a choice?
Well, I don't know. Ask Lucy.
Well, I know Lucy won't. Lucy doesn't like music. Dido was the last thing she bought.
Anyway, see what you
That's
think.
such a lie.
See what you think.
Sally Gray, he put away his hammer and popped his chewing gum.
Yeah, I hate it. Just like I knew I would.
Didn't dig him, 'cause nobody loves like an Irishman.
Yes, I'm sure you like that.
No.
No?
No.
Because, I mean, we used to buy EPs. It wasn't just LPs.
Well, you used to buy 78s. I'm sure you remember back that
78s,
far.
Yes.
78s they were so fragile. They were very thick things, much thicker than vinyl albums. They were about, I don't know, a quarter of an inch or more thick.
You had to be very, very careful that you didn't break them.
Well, you would hold it by one edge and the thing would snap.
But, I mean, EPs were great because, I mean, they were about 11 shillings, which is, just over 50p. And you had the 4 songs on it. I remember, it was great because if you never got the singles when they came out, you just used to wait.
Yeah, in fact, the first piece of vinyl I ever had was the Beatles EP, all 4 first singles on the one thing.
Oh, yeah.
Which was absolute rubbish. But Please, Please Me.
Yeah.
Love, Love Me Do.
That's it, yeah. Have I ever told you the story, Nick?
What were the other two?
The Beatles
because they were
performing without instruments.
They were so silly, the first 4 songs. Who knew that then they would go on to be this...
The big stars they were.
Overrated band.
Have I ever told you the story, Nick, of how I saw the Beatles...
Without any instruments? No.
Well, what happened was I used to go to a show in Lower Regent Street, and it was a radio programme. It was called The Pop In. It was introduced by Keith Fordyce.
In the Paris
Paris,
studios.
yeah. And they used to have all the big stars that come along to plug their latest records, and one week they had this group came along. I'd never heard of them, the Beatles. And they did their first song on the stage, because they play it, and they were miming as though they got their instruments. So you had Ringo at the back making out he got his drums.
Well, it was just sitting down in front of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, they were sort of doing a mime act.
Maybe this was during their LSD period.
No. They were coherent.
Maybe they thought that they were playing, but, they'd left their instruments and their brains back at the hotel. Listen, Philip, that's a little stroll down memory lane. Thanks for that, but I've got to go, all right.
Okay.
Ta-da.
All right.
It was Mr. Lister.
The last train to Hemel Hempstead.
I'm listening, dear. You can talk to me.
Have I done that one already? I forget. I should mark them off with a cross. So, right, we've done the first album you ever bought. What was the first single? First single I ever had, well, I didn't buy it personally, not that you asked, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
Good.
So I've got to fill for the news. Was Andy Williams.
Oh, did you?
What?
Yes.
Oh, I like Andy Williams.
Homecoming Man, back with Whistling in the Dark. And I stand by that. I think that's a fabulous record.
I've remembered my first one.
Go on.
My album was Prince, Purple Rain.
Right. Well, that's not too embarrassing, I suppose.
Good.
Nothing wrong with it.
Oh, that's good.
It's a bit of a relief, eh? You just made that up, didn't you?
I didn't make it up.
You liar.
I did, I remember.
Alex?
It's embarrassing.
First single?
Take On Me.
That is embarrassing.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
Sorry.
There's no way back from that, I'm afraid.
Nick Abbott.
Hello, boys.
A Percy Pig. Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Oh,
Did
that's
you
one
like
of the
it?
worst things I've ever put in my mouth.
Really?
A Percy Pig.
Oh, I think they're lush.
Lush?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know. But they're nice and juicy, aren't they?
Yeah, but with what? What are the ingredients on that? It's a small jelly-type flat product.
It's like a strawberry chew, isn't it?
With, in the shape
I wish I hadn't looked at the back.
of a pig's face.
Guess what the third ingredient is?
Phenylalanolate.
Basically, it's pork gelatin.
Oh, no, I can't eat that.
Are you a vegetarian?
Yes.
Are you?
Pork
no, you're not.
gelatin, I am.
You're not. You eat a bit of meat, but you just don't eat sausages
What's
and things.
gelatin?
Well, yeah. But
Look it up. Isn't it bits
it's
of
bones
feet?
boiled down.
Oh,
It's all right. It didn't look like it, though,
I
did
wasn't
it?
feeling very well when I came in. Now I'm feeling just positively bilious.
There's a bit of beeswax in there
Gelatin.
as well. Yeah.
Someone I know had food poisoning this week.
Really?
Yes.
What, proper food poisoning?
Yes.
Oh.
From some evil place that we went to eat. Which
Oh,
I
it's
can't-
from a restaurant?
Yes.
Oh, dear.
And so I called up the council, and they said, we're going to send you a small box.
The council?
Yes.
Why didn't you call it the restaurant?
Well,
I mean...
you got to call the council.
Did you tell the restaurant as well?
Well, I did, but I wish I hadn't now.
Oh,
because
have they asked you to come back?
well, I'm not.
Free.
I shan't be going there again. But I wish I hadn't, because I've alerted them now. And I'd rather that the council went and dispense some justice, because they'll have cleaned the place now before the council get there.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Right.
So if you want to if you want to deal your own justice, you call the council, don't tell the restaurant, and then the council will go round to the restaurant and slap them with a huge fine.
Or
burn them to the ground.
Tell the restaurant.
Something like that.
Get your free meal or your money back, then tell the council.
Well, I did speak to the restaurant, and of course they denied everything.
Oh, did they not even offer you a...
No, they were complete jerks about it.
Really?
Because if they admit it...
Yeah.
Thinking logically...
They're liable.
Yeah, you could sue them. So they have to say it wasn't us.
But if they'd had some fish, say, was it through meat or fish?
Meat.
Oh, that's kind of worse, isn't it? Chicken?
And so anyway, the council sends you a small box...
Yeah.
In which you have to...
Oh, no, I've realised what you were about to say.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Isn't that
you
awful?
Can't talk about that, it's horrible.
They sent a courier round with a small box.
Oh, how undignified.
Which you then had to fill.
Oh, I bet you never want to go out again.
And then a man comes and collects it the next day.
Oh, God, it's awful. That's awful.
In an envelope. And if you're out, when he comes, he says, just leave it outside the front door.
Dear.
There's a package you wouldn't want to steal.
Do you think he knew what he was picking up?
I've no idea.
You weren't going to tell him.
But you know what?
Handle with care, did you write on the side?
I was thinking of where it was going. Imagine this. You think you've got a bad job. A guy is standing in a room, courier after courier, delivery after delivery, all day long.
He'll never get a pleasant surprise.
People's little boxes. That's what he does for a living.
That's got to be the worst job in the world,
In the
hasn't it?
world, yes.
Oh, yeah, that is really...
That makes you feel happy, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's a really nice story. Thanks
Lovely.
for that.
Mm-hmm.
Not even a nice outcome.
Let's have Croydon. Hello, Andy.
Hello, Nick.
Andy.
How's it going?
All right, thanks.
Yeah, good. Yes, just trying to put something out there. The callers, maybe they... two things that you have to do before you pass away.
Only two? I think he has passed away.
Yeah, I've got two things that I must do before I pass away.
Okay. Lay it on us, baby.
The first one is the parachute jump.
Why?
It's just I'm scared of heights, you see. I just want to, like a challenge.
You're scared of heights, so you want to do a parachute jump.
Yeah, you got to get over your fear.
Why?
Oh,
Why don't you just live with your fear?
Oh, no. So
you'll be up in the plane, and every fibre of your being will not want to jump. Why would you jump out of a perfectly good plane?
Well, it's a parachute jump. You're not just jumping out.
It would be something you do not before you die, as you die.
Oh. No, before you die. Hello?
Okay. And number two?
Number two is...
Land safely.
Yeah. To do a Del Boy.
To do a what?
A Del Boy.
Oh, I thought you said something completely different. I thought it was,
No,
some sort of perverted,
You must have watched it, Hardy Fools and Horses.
Del Boy, yeah.
Yeah, there was a particular episode.
Where he fell through the bar.
No. When he wanted to become an art dealer. So he met up with this woman, this art dealer lady, and he was trying to sell pictures. He has these framed pictures in the flat, and so he went and then started talking. So he asked her to come back to his place, and just to look at the photos to see if they're worth any money. So he goes into the bedroom. She's just looking at the photos, bending down slightly. He comes up behind her, slaps her on the backside. She turns around all shocked, and then he asks her, fancy a curry? Hello?
Fancy a curry?
Yeah. No, he slaps her on the backside, and she turns around all flustered. And then he says, do you fancy a curry?
Right.
Fancy a curry? Ah, if you've seen that episode, it's hilarious.
Right, well, it's, the way you're telling it. Everyone's falling around over here. Thanks, Andy. That was a little insight into the rest of your life. I think I died during that call. That was one of the things I had to do before I die, take his call. But we do appreciate it, Andy. Thanks a lot. What was that about? Do you have any idea what that was? What was that exactly?
No. And when he said he wanted to do a Del Boy,
yeah,
was he just going to act it out at home, or
I've got no idea.
Get a few mates round? Here's my Del Boy.
I thought he said do a girl boy, and my alarm bells are ringing in my mind. What does that mean?
Might have been more exciting.
Well, it would have been more interesting. Yeah, might have been funny.
Very odd.
I don't get that. So he slapped her on the rear and said, "Do you fancy a curry?"
There must be a part of the joke that's missing there.
Yeah, the funny part. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the bit he left out. Oh, well. Let's have Northwood. Hello, John.
Hello, Nick. Yeah, I think I lost the will to live, really.
Yeah, seriously.
That's in my pocket full of euros. You played the first record I ever bought, totally by accident.
I did?
About a few minutes ago. That one, yeah.
You bought Dick-a-Dum-Dum?
I did.
By Des O'Connor?
In the 60s.
Oh.
Dick-a-dum-dum, a dick-a-dum-dum. A dick-a-dum-dum, a dick-a-dum-dum. A dick-a-dum-dum, a dick-a-dum-dum. A dick-a-dum-dum, a dick-a-dum-dum. I gotta go to Piccadilly, gotta Piccadilly of a day to do it on.
Oh.
And he goes down...
God, that's bad.
He picks up a girl down the King's Road. Yeah, I know it's terrible, but...
Picks up a girl in Piccadilly. Well, there's a first.
And goes down the King's Road. That's the subtitle. And, no, I was only 6 years old, so I can be forgiven. It's probably the start of a career of buying dodgy records, but...
Have you got this one?
Happiness, happiness.
Dick-a-Dum-Dum and Happiness.
No, I haven't got Happiness.
Okay.
The second record was Early in the Morning by Vanity Fair. But yeah, it was just things, I heard on holiday in jukeboxes, and it's sort of like, kids' pester power. With me it was records.
In jukeboxes. Somebody put that in a jukebox?
I know, it's absolutely diabolical, but it's extraordinary what you did here. I no other reason for ringing the show at all. I can't be bothered to argue with you about the state of the planet. I'm usually talking to the other Nick, and...
Well, what do you argue with him about?
Oh, everything, really. Just phone up to annoy him, basically.
Right. Well, that's good.
Yeah, oh dear, no, I was just so surprised to hear it. Basically, the Des O'Connor. But
well, I'm surprised that anyone would call in and admit to owning it. Not only owning it, but buying it.
Yes, I know. Well, there are some strange people around.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Thanks a lot, John. Thanks for being strange. All right. Hey, the Borat movie? I think it was Jethro called in last week and said it was doing really well in America, and I said, oh, no, it's not. But you know what? It is.
Yeah.
Isn't it #1 in America? It's a soft week for openings. There's nothing it's up against that's really big at the moment. I think it made some 8 million on the first day.
Yeah.
Whereas a Tom Cruise movie would make 40 million, something like that. So it's not up against any strong competition. But it's amazingly doing really well. People are queuing around the block. I'm stunned.
Have you seen it?
No. Well, I refuse to see something that they obviously spent £10 on. It's a TV programme that runs for an hour and a half or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I'm going to spend £185 on going to the cinema, I want them to have spent £100 million on stunts and explosions.
Which you have seen, and you didn't pay a penny for that.
Yeah, the new James Bond film.
Yeah, only a week to go.
Oh, it's not even out yet?
No.
All right. Well, you should be queuing around. Well, you won't like it because you're only a girl, Lucy.
Oh.
But Alex
I feel
will be
so
rushing
insignificant.
This is actually the first Bond film in ages I've actually had an inclination to look forward to seeing.
Me too. I wouldn't have gone if it hadn't been free. But somebody I knew said, "You want to go tomorrow?" They said on Thursday, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, all right then." And I'm very glad I did. I'll probably go again now.
And you might pay this time.
Yeah. But someone's suing the Borat film in America.
Oh, right. Well,
And you could see this coming a mile away if you knew anything about the litigious nature of Americans. 2 anonymous plaintiffs are suing 20th Century Fox and One America Productions, claiming that members of their college fraternity were interviewed to become part of the smash Borat Cultural Leanings of America for Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan film. The plaintiffs, listed as John Doe 1 and John Doe 2, were allegedly assured that the film would not be shown in the US and their identities would not be revealed. You have to wonder when things like this, when they get unsuspecting dupes and make absolute fools of them, what they were, how they were spoken to before the camera started rolling.
Yeah.
Because once you're in front of a camera, you're obliged to take part. I mean, somebody will ask you a question. A guy called Chris Morris used to... Not Johnny Morris, Chris Morris, used to go out and ask people in the street. And he was a very... he did the day-to-day, right?
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That chap.
Yeah.
And he was a very large, imposing bloke. And he would go up to some unsuspecting dupe in the street and say something like, "So, do you think that the speed is too fast?" A question of that doesn't mean anything at all, like that. And people would, because they'd thrust a microphone into their face, and they'd say, yes, I think on balance, yes, it is too quick." Because once you're in that position, you feel, you mentally fill in the gaps.
Yes, well, you're kind of forced to, aren't you?
Because you can't say, "What on earth do you mean?" That doesn't mean anything at all. You cretinous oaf. Because that would be, they're not playing the game, not playing the media game. And if you're on television, the desire to help out is all the more great. And so it doesn't matter what you're asked, you're going to do your best to help out the person that's doing the asking.
Would you? I think I'd run a mile if someone was trying to thrust a camera and in my face.
It's one of the worst things to attempt to do. It's like these clipboard people on the street trying to sell you a peace of mind.
Doing a survey.
Yeah,
and
doing a survey or asking for your charity.
And that's the worst thing, even in radio, is doing vox pops.
It's exactly my point, because nobody wants to know. And you got, you have to get a broad cross-section of people, and no one wants to talk to you. And after about the 5th or 6th time of being rebuffed, you just want to end your own life.
Yes, it is. It's so humiliating.
Yeah.
And I could never work out the best way to do it, whether to hide the microphone in my bag and then get it out at the last minute as you kind of pretend to someone like you're going to ask for directions, or whether you just are really obvious about it. But
because people skirt around you like...
they see you coming and go away from you.
As opposed to in America, where they'll be drawn to it like magnets, because people in America will perform. Whereas in this country, if at the scene of an accident on the news, for instance, in America, you will get an in-depth, verbose description of the accident and everything that happened up to and after it. In this country, you stick a microphone in somebody's face at the scene of an accident, they'll be like, well, don't know, really. Something like that. But America seems to be a nation stuffed with media-savvy people. Everyone's on all the time, and they're performing. And so if you come up with a film crew and position it in front of Americans, then you're bound to get them to say pretty much anything you like. You can ask them the silliest question in the whole wide world. Do you think it's too brown? And they'll say, oh, yes, on reflection, I do think it is too brown. You know, so you can get them to do that, and so I wonder what the setup is for Borat.
Yeah, but at what point do they have to say they're going to be on television? Do they not have to tell them until afterwards?
I don't know. They have to sign a waiver.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
So they must have them sign it beforehand, because if they waited until after they'd made a fool of themselves, they probably wouldn't.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere that they had them sign it and basically paid them cash before filming. So it's like, here's your money. No?
That's right. They were both selected to appear in the movie, and according to the suit, taken to a drinking establishment to loosen up and provided alcoholic beverages. They claim they signed the movie releases after heavy drinking. The suit claims that both men were then taken to a motorhome where they filmed where they were filmed, all the while encouraged to continue drinking. So these were college students, right? They didn't live in a motorhome, but they took them to a motorhome anyway for our amusement. The movie features a scene in a motorhome where Sacha Baron Cohen gets drunk with three frat boys, frat fraternity, and the group watches a Pamela Anderson Tommy Lee sex tape while drunk. I still haven't seen that. It's got to be one of the most famous films on the net.
I haven't either.
Alex is staying silent.
Yeah, Alex clearly has. But obviously his wife's listening.
The plaintiffs claim they suffered humiliation, mental anguish, and emotional and physical distress, loss of reputation, goodwill, and standing in the community because the movie was indeed released in the US. The suit asks for unspecified damages.
Danger, danger.
That's huge. And I've got the actual court papers right here.
Have you?
Yes.
That's very impressive.
Isn't it? I almost, I got them by doing everything I could, up to but not including research.
Well, yes.
Here's a summary of the action. Sacha Baron, number one. This is actually written in the court documents on which their case is based. This
How did you get them?
On the World Wide Wait.
Is it just on there? You can just...
A photocopy of the actual document is on there, yeah. Summary of action. Point 1. Sacha Baron Cohen is a prankster. His MO, modus operandi, insists of creating likeable yet outrageous characters and then unleashing these characters into selected individuals for public viewing, which doesn't make sense. Into selected individuals. Onto, perhaps. Already their case is beginning to fall apart just through bad grammar. The funny part is when we, the audience, see how these individuals react to him. Point 2. Until recently, his musings... This doesn't sound like a legal document, doesn't it? But this is what they've written.
No.
His musings can be found on The Ali G Show, which only aired on HBO and which received moderate success. What is most impressive about Mr. Cohen is his uncanny ability to fool interviewees into his traps, including a presidential candidate and congressmen from both sides of the aisles who have staff whose job it is to screen such pranks. In other words, Mr. Cohen and his staff lie really well, they say. Have we done the ads at 15 yet?
Nope.
Oh, no.
Oops. One of the characters made famous on Ali G is Borat, a Kazakh news reporter. Borat, it seems, has overgrown his pint-sized format and has become a full-length feature. The format of the film is no different than what is described above. People are tricked into making fools of themselves. The film has been described in many colourful ways. Some call it hilarious, some call it offensive, and when one falls on that line, where one falls on that line depends largely on one's tolerance for incest and penis jokes. Needless to say, the movie is doing very well domestically. The problem is, however, that its success rests on the back of unsuspecting players. The lawsuit seeks to remedy that. That'll cost him $100 million.
Nick Abbott.
Everything is going extremely well.
Hey, Joseph.
Hello there, Nick. How you doing?
I'm all right.
I was just talking about the green hysteria earlier.
Yes.
You seem to hit the nail right on the head again. And I wrote about that in my blog about a week ago. So you're a little behind me. But
Your blog?
Yeah. My blog. I told you about that.
Everyone's doing a blog. I've got pressure on me to do one myself.
Well, I'm up to 700 reads a week now. But, yeah, what's scary, too, for here in the UK is that all three wings of the Conservative, Labour, Liberal, Democrat Party all are agreeing to tax people over this stuff. It's just they're just debating over how much each one wants to tax us.
But the scary thing is that we're in agreement that they should do it.
Well, you guys may be. I'm not. But I mean, because how is taxing us going to reduce carbon emissions?
Excellent point. It won't.
It won't. And for example, they raise the tax on cars. If you're rich enough to buy a Land Rover, I don't think a few hundred more pounds is going to make that big a difference.
Of course not, no. If you're eyeing up a Ferrari at £170,000, then then putting a £1,000 road tax on top isn't going to make the slightest bit of difference, because presumably it would be your fifth car anyway.
And if you're poor, then you can't afford to buy a new car, so you've just got to grin and bear it and pay the tax.
Yes.
Like me, I have an 11-year-old car. Well, if they raise the road tax, it makes it even less likely they'll buy a new car because they won't be able to afford it.
And the same thing with airplane ticket tax. I mean, you could just put a £20 tax on the cost of a flight, and it won't have any effect at all on the amount of people that are flying, because how else are you going to get there? You're going to take your winter holidays in Clacton.
They're already taxed.
I don't think so.
I mean, I used to work as a travel agent, and the ticket taxes went up dramatically about 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah.
The tax round trip to America, doubled.
And with the effect that nothing happened.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's totally unnecessary as well. I mean, there have been two car companies recently, Mazda and BMW, have both announced that they're going to introduce hydrogen engines in the near future, which emit water. So, the technology will solve, if it's even human caused. I mean, scientists are not 100% in agreement that the warming is caused by people anyway.
Scientists aren't in agreement what the weather's going to be like tomorrow. How they can tell with certainty what it's going to be like in 50 years is just ridiculous.
Well, but this hysteria, it's really, it's frightening to me how people are allowing themselves to be worked up, and how it somehow always plays out that the government takes more money.
Yeah, funny that, isn't it?
And the proposal, have you heard the proposal that somebody made that each individual should have a carbon account?
Oh.
Have you heard that recently?
No, I haven't.
It was last week I heard on LBC that one politician suggested each individual, how they have the carbon trading for businesses.
Yeah.
They want to make it individual. So every activity you do, you will have a certain budget of carbon you're allowed to emit. And if you go over that, you have to buy more.
Listen, we're up against the news. I'm sorry, but everything you say I'm in complete agreement with, apart from the points at which I'm not, for balance.
I took the inside.
973.
Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome, come on in.
Hey, Tallulah. How's your parrot?
Hello. Oh, yeah. I thought, hey, it was really sweet of Philip to give me that advice. I will check it out.
Oh, right. So, you and your parrot could be famous.
Yeah. I didn't quite catch what it all was about,
Yes, a really diabolical film called Pirates of the Caribbean. Awful rubbish. Lucy'd probably love it.
I've not seen it.
No, you've missed nothing.
I've heard it's quite good.
No, it isn't. It's awful. Really, really shockingly bad. And so bad, in fact, that they've made 2 more. There's going to be 3 of those things. Well, it is awful.
Why?
The acting is terrible, the story is risible, the stunts are laughable. Need I go on?
Oh.
The cinema was overly heated when I was there and smelt of feet.
That'll be the popcorn. Oh.
So anyway, don't go there, girlfriend, all right?
Well, hi, Philip. Thanks for thinking of me. I will see what... You know what?
What?
My first album was Leonard Skinner, Sweet Home Alabama.
Well, that wasn't an album, but thanks for playing.
No, that is an album.
No, it's not.
Lynyrd Skynyrd, where there is Sweet Home Alabama on it.
Aha, right, well, now she's backtracking, changing her story, she is.
No, what is the album called, you know?
Well, it wasn't pronounced, and you want to say Lynyrd Skynyrd, but the clue's in the title. Their first album was pronounced Leonard Skynyrd. Which is going to come as a surprise to almost everybody who's listening to this, who, of those, the small percentage that have actually heard of Leonard Skynyrd. But Leonard Skynyrd, you're supposed to pronounce it. And do you know why they're called Leonard Skynyrd? No. Because they had a school teacher, I think it was their gym teacher, in Florida. They're not from Alabama, they're from Florida, Gainesville, I believe. Was that where Tom Petty came from? Anyway, some small town in Florida. And they had a games teacher, I believe, called Leonard Skinner, who they hated. And so, as a joke, they called their band Lynyrd Skynyrd. Leonard Skynyrd.
And
I believe it was their second one, which was probably called... Gosh, I can't remember. I almost certainly played it today. If not today, then tomorrow.
I recently said this to a 13-year-old girl. I said my first album was Lynyrd Skynyrd, and she said, "Oh, I've got it on my iPod." I said, "Ooh, well done."
You see, now that's exactly what I was talking about earlier on. I think that apart from the actual product is not very friendly, it's not a nice thing to own, an MP3 file. I mean, what can you can't pick it up and hold it and look at it and smell it, can you? But I think the whole idea of downloading things and if you like that, you'll like this, has really opened up people's minds to the possibilities of modern music. Because kids today, in my day, it were right, not grand.
Don't speak like this.
Because in my day, if you liked...
No fart.
If you liked... like heavy metal, that was the only thing you were going to listen to, and you wouldn't buy anything else. But these days, if you like, I don't know, let's pick something out of the air, something really silly. If you like The Darkness, for instance. Anybody like The Darkness?
No.
No, I didn't think so. But if you do, if you downloaded some of that, they'll say, well, hey, why don't you listen to Queen or, Iron Maiden or something like that?
It is very, very, very good. Exactly.
So I think that is actually a positive force, the whole downloading thing. And if you like that, you'll like this. I think that's opening people's minds to musical possibilities that would not have been on their horizon.
I was really impressed when the showed me your iPod and it says Leonard Skynyrd over there.
That is impressive.
Yeah. But contraire, my fingers...
And that's you're rock royalty. I know I've said this before, but a lot of people don't know this. You're not just some crazy bird woman. You don't mind if I say that, do you?
No, I grew up in a special family, yeah.
Yeah, special family. She's a Schenker. Rudolph and Michael. Go and look them up on the internet. They're huge.
My parents left me home alone when I was 8 years to go with my brothers for their gigs every other weekend.
Right, well, that must have been some crazy scene for an 8-year-old.
Yeah, that was very crazy.
Yowza.
but you know what my first single was? And I lived in Germany, but I was in England to visit my brother who was then playing with UFO. And it was If by Kojak.
Kojak. Oh, no, I remember that. If by Kojak. Oh, Struth.
But only because he had such a sexy voice that the music in the background was very cool. It was a bit like Jitem, and he just so dark and cool.
Yes. It's one of those really, really embarrassing records that actually it's okay to have.
Yeah, absolutely. I stick to it. I am not embarrassed whatsoever.
I think you should be a little bit embarrassed.
No.
Just a tiny bit.
Okay, then. Just a tiny.
I'd say about 6%.
That's 5.
That's not bad. So anyway, what have you been up to this week then, Tallulah?
Oh, I had a magic week because I've been at Reach Street with... I've got a new picture on my website with Peter the Town Crier.
Who is this Peter the Town Crier?
He's this guy with the dark voice. You interviewed him last week with...
Is that the guy on line 10?
Yeah.
Good grief.
Yeah.
If I press conference...
No, just press root.
Root. Yeah.
Route number 10, and then hit TBU2.
TBU2?
It's the one under Tallulah.
Oh.
Do you want me to put it through?
Yes, please. Oh, there it is. Hey, Peter.
How are you?
Are you How on earth did this... Almost like we planned this.
No, it's not been planned.
Are you a town crier?
I'm town crier of London, sir.
Is that an actual position?
It is indeed 30 years.
Given by what organisation?
Well, I started with the GLC, I then went to the boroughs. I'm now town crier for the Mayor of London, I'm town crier for the various boroughs. I'm also town crier for Regent Street, Covent Garden, the City of Westminster, the Royal Borough of Kingston-on-Thames.
I've never seen you out.
Have a look, have a look.
Walk around blind, I'm out every day of the week, sir.
Peter, did you see your picture?
I didn't know.
What do you dress like?
You go to www.londontowncrier.com.
I can't, I'm doing a little show.
All right, well, I wear a red and gold costume, tricorn hat with ostrich feathers, black boots, white breeches, and a large handbell, and I do, oh yay, oh yay, you're listening to Nick Abbott on London's LBC. God save the Queen.
There's a picture of you. Lucy has just found it. That looks hot.
Thank you so much. I rang you.
No, I don't mean... Wait a minute. Back up a sec. I don't mean hot as in...
No, I realise that, yes.
I'm not saying you so horny. I'm saying it looks like...
Yeah, that's right. I've had many things said to me in my life.
It looks warm to wear.
Hey,
It
Nick,
is.
Nick,
Yes, Tallulah.
can you Google Schenker's sister with a double S in the middle? One word.
Can I do what?
Google Schenker's sister. One word, double S in the middle.
I've seen your website.
Yeah, but it's new with Peter and me and the budgie.
Yeah, Tallulah comes occasionally to events I do.
Well, what kind of thing do you do? I mean...
Well, I go around the world promoting trade and industry with the emphasis on tourism.
Right.
I lead the New Year's Day parade in West End, the first of it.
What time do you have to get up on New Year's Day for that?
I do. I work New Year's Eve as well. I also do the Covent Garden lights, the Regent Street lights, my local lights here in Wimbledon. I just come back from Monaco, where I did a British week over there. Basically, I have Bellwood travel. I've done it for 30 years. I have thoroughly enjoyed myself, meet lots of super people, and I'm a very modern town crier with my own website, and I think up to date it's had 4.5 million hits in about the last 6 years.
Wow. You should put ads on there by this time next year.
No, I can't do so, because I'm paid money by your good self, the various boroughs and also the...
Not too much, I hope.
I get to retain, you see, so I can't go and charge money to people.
Let me just... Can I pause you there? Lucy is desperately trying to look up Schenker's sister, but you've spelt it wrong. S-C-H...
Yeah.
E-N-K-E-R.
Double S. I-S-T.
Schenker's sister. Right, Google that. Yeah, Schenker's sister. Your search, Schenker's sister, did not match any documents on Google. It's one of the few words that you can actually type into Google that comes up with nothing at all.
Fantastic.
Schenker's sister is a powerful woman that does believe that men don't... Oh, this is actually you. Okay, there it is, right there. MySpace, Schenker's sister.
No, go to Gale City.
This is one of the few shows on radio that you can't listen to without having a computer terminal in front of your face.
Can I tell you what I rang you up for, sir?
Yes, please do.
The good news is you will be not trouble anymore with your Bible friend.
Really?
Yes, they've had an ASBO now served on him. He cannot appear anywhere in the City of Westminster.
That's excellent.
That's from yesterday.
So... From City of Westminster, so that means that he'll be in this... It'd be pointless him doing it in the City of London, because after 5 o'clock there's no one there.
No, but it covers everywhere, from Oxford Circus, Bayswater, Piccadilly Circus, Leicester Square, Parliament Square, anywhere where there's people, basically.
Maybe he'll have to go and join his oik mate from Birmingham or Liverpool.
Well, apparently it's quite interesting. I didn't realise that he apparently was quite a well-off gentleman with a business who found Jesus, sold all his money, and turned to the Lord.
Well,
according to the news report I read today.
Because he looks like someone who should be attending a fairground ride.
True.
No offence, but it looks like that's where he won his jacket.
The next thing I shall be doing is the 16th of December, the lights in Covent Garden.
And what are they like this year?
I don't know. I haven't seen them yet, sir. They've not been up yet.
Foolish question.
The Regent Street lights are fantastic.
Yeah, they're Disney, aren't they?
No, they're is it Aardman? Who's the Gromit people?
Aardman.
Aardman and Disney joined together for this new cartoon which comes out.
See, it used to be all about Christmas. Used to be all about Santa. That's what Christmas is all about. Now it's about selling cartoons to kids.
Well, no, they're still lovely lights, and I think they look very tasteful. And so on the 8th of December, I shall be the opening of the Leicester Square Fun Fair. So if you're doing anything on the 8th, come down and have a ride on the bumper cars with me.
I absolutely will not do that. But thanks for the offer,
all
Peter.
Right, sir.
Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Hey, what about that, Tallulah?
Oh, yeah.
You're speechless.
It was at Regent Street, switching the light on. The people were just upset. It was like a rock concert. They all was in a good mood, and it was a brilliant atmosphere. And I've been talking to all the policemen and so on.
This is a multimedia experience right now, because I've got a website, your Schenker Sister website has got a picture of you with the bloke that I've just been talking to in his full gear, ringing his bell with his, that looks just like the hottest items of clothing you've ever seen in your life, doesn't it? I mean, he must get those cleaned on a daily basis in the summertime. It must be boiling in there. And there you are, holding up your bag with a budgie in it. That's just great. There it is on schenkersister.com or whatever it is.
No, it's just Google Schenker Sister.
Google Schenker Sister.
Yeah.
With a CHENKERSS. That's not Liza with a Z, that's Liza with an S, because Liza with a S goes not Z. Remember that always, and you'll never go wrong. All right.
All right, sir.
Thanks a lot, Tallulah.
Okay, then.
Ta-ta.
Nick Abbott.
Come on, we're running late.
Here's a bloke called Mickey.
Yeah. It's a while since I've heard that one.
Hey, Mickey.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, yeah. I just thought joining you in singing the praises of vinyl. Even though I suspect I'm considerably younger than you, there's something quite sexy about it.
There is.
And
the smell of it, the touch of it, the feel of it.
Yeah, I won't go so far as to say it's a living thing like you are, but basically it's nice, looks better, feels better. And
I like the way you can flip it over with you hold it on both edges and you can flip it over really quick. It's a skill.
Yeah.
Shut up, Lucy. It is. It's a bloke thing.
Yeah.
But you can't do that with a CD. You just have to turn it over. You can't flip it.
Well, there's something quite cheap and tacky about CDs, and this is what I was just talking to Lucy about. I want to. I'm a singer. I'm just driving back from a gig now, and I want to put out a demo, and I want to put out a record demo rather than a CD demo, which isn't exactly handy for dishing out.
Lucy's sitting in there trying to flip a CD. The look of concentration on her face.
Why is she trying to flip? Oh, you mean she's holding it by the edges?
She's holding it by the edges and trying to flip it over, because you can do it with vinyl, because it's got some weight to it. It's the right size. And, you can get it to flip really quickly. And the look of... I mean, you always had your tongue sticking out of your mouth. You were concentrating on that so hard. That was
I thought it might be
funny.
possible. That's why. I didn't want to be beaten.
So you just come back from a gig. What kind of stuff do you sing?
I think Sinatra sort of stuff, Rat Packy sort of...
Right.
Wedding fodder.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's because it fits with that kind of thing as well, rather than doing some kind of sort of tacky CD. I wanted to try and record an album. I haven't really looked into it yet, but I very much like the idea of it. A bit more bulky for dishing out free sort of copies of them, probably a lot more expensive, but looks the part. I think I'm going to do it, really.
Well, you want to get onto YouTube, which sounds like an insult, doesn't it? Hey, Luce, YouTube.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch on to these things, but I'm not doing that well at the moment.
Because this woman...
I've managed to get a MySpace, but and a website, but that's the best I can do at the moment.
Right, yeah, MySpace. Isn't that where that woman who said, I'd like to be a punk rock star, or some dopey song like
Is that how she started, was it?
I wish I was a punk rocker.
Yeah, she said...
They're to blame, are they?
Yeah, right. Apparently the story was, I don't know if this is a made-up record company BS, but they said that she did a performance, a concert in her own front room on MySpace, and she suddenly became a worldwide hit, and she got a hit with this dopey song that sounds to me like it should have been on the soundtrack to Dawson's Creek or one of those
Yeah,
soppy
yeah.
American
Or
programs.
should have just been left in her own living room and
Yeah.
not for everybody else.
You're right.
Agree with you, yeah.
So you're bound to want to sing us something right now.
Well, what, considering I've been singing all night? That's why I listen to you on the way home, so I don't have to listen to any more music, but,
I'm like that too, yeah, and often when I do a talk show,
yeah.
particularly when I used to do one that lasted 4 hours, I'd get off at 2 in the morning at a previous place.
And listen to some hardcore hip-hop on the way back.
Well, no, the cab would be waiting outside, and the thing with cabbies overnight is that they're lonely, and they've got no one to talk to. And so the moment you'd get in, this bloke would be yakking and asking questions, and all I wanted to do was to just stop speaking and stare out the window and put my mind into neutral. The last thing in the world that I wanted to do was get into a conversation.
Entertain a lonely person, yeah.
Yes, which is what I'd been doing for 4 hours. Yeah.
Bad news. So, you've just asked me to sing, so essentially what you've done is the very thing you've complained about.
Right, so, get on with it.
Okay. What do you want me to sing, then?
What goes down best?
Depends on the crowd, really. Sort of Harry Connick Jr., something like that.
What, is Harry Connick... I thought Harry Connick Jr. just stole from Frank.
Yeah, I suppose that's what I'm doing as well, in a way.
Right. Well, you steal from the best. That's what I did.
Yeah, well, yeah, there you go.
Right, off you go.
Okay. I know you...
Oh, no, we've run out of time on that call. I hate when that happens. But thanks, Mickey.
Oh, that was a bit quick.
I know, yeah, but, time's pressing on. Can't hang around.
See you later.
Ta-ta. So concerns have been raised. This is a story that I was talking about ages ago. And it fits right in with that town crier guy.
Oh, yeah?
I wonder how much he gets paid for crying.
I really
Should have
don't
asked
know.
him.
You should have done. I could probably look it up on his website. Maybe you
No.
can hire him to come and cry.
Oh, well, that would be a good way of finding out. How much does he charge?
Do you want me to find out?
No.
No.
Concerns have been raised about the amount of energy used by the Oxford Street Christmas lights. And before the Stern report came out, there was this thing in the papers about the Queen. Oh, well, probably not her herself. I mean, she won't be out with her electrician's belt wiring it up. But they were going to light up the Buckingham, the front of Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
For the length of her reign, it said. And there was uncontained joy in the streets. People were, slicing cake. They were so happy. And then, almost the very next day, this Stern report came out, and suddenly people were tutting under their breath. They were saying, how dare she waste all of that electricity lighting up the front of her house? So the turnaround in public opinion was huge, and 180 degrees, from being all for it one day, to the point of thinking, why hasn't this been done before? Why aren't we like Paris and light up our grand buildings? Instead of plunging everything into a dim darkness, lit only by the weedy orange glow of a street light. Why are they orange?
I don't know, but have you seen the ones out here? Because they're actually a lot brighter in it. Often, they're not like normal street lights.
I think it's something to do with the
Um,
gas that they
Is it?
use in the...
Well, this is probably
elements
such
or
a lovely area that
They need
feel
to
the
light it up.
Yes, to floodlight the streets just in case. I look twice when I leave.
I get the security guy to come and have a look out the back, or Alex has to wait for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway, back to this.
Sorry.
On Thursday, you don't have to apologise to me. I was out on a tangent of my own. On Thursday, girl band All Saints. Who are they?
Well, one of them went out with Robbie Williams.
See, now isn't that pathetic?
And now Liam Gallagher's married her, I think.
Right, now, we know them from the men that they date.
Yeah. And Liam and Robbie were going to have a fight about it.
Yeah, sure they were.
Apparently.
His people were going to talk to the other person's people, and, they were going to... yeah, right.
Well, I think he just said he was going to smack him in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They must have run into each other a lot. Funny how that hasn't happened. Organisers, because, they both would have had people. Because if you're a Larry rock star, as happened in Australia, you can break from the cordon of your security and walk across the road and smack someone in the face, and then run back across the road to be protected by your minders. And you know that there's nothing that anyone could do other than take you to court. And courts won't do anything at all. Because, well, certainly in this country, you can do anything you like, up to and including murder, and they still won't do anything, because they show genuine remorse or some ridiculous thing that the judge will come out with. Every day you read a story in the newspapers that's just like that, and you raise your eyes to the roof, and you flip the page over, just, kind of ignoring the fact that people's lives have been ruined. But anyway, this is not why you called.
No, I didn't call about that.
No. What were we talking about?
You were talking about the lights, the Queen's lights.
Yeah, and then I got, Robbie and Liam.
Yeah.
So that's a situation that they can get away with. They can break from the cordon of their security and go and smack a cameraman in the mouth and then be protected from any comeback. But if it's two rock stars, well, I can't really call him Robbie Williams a rock star, can you? What is he exactly? You can't sing, you can't dance, what can he do? He's got the stage presence of a mic stand. Why do people like him? I don't get it. Guy Chambers songs, I guess. But anyway.
Oh, gosh, that was a little rant there, wasn't it?
I can't stand
You love him.
It's just that he represents Britain from British music. I mean,
he can sing.
Yeah.
He can
sing.
Come on.
He can sing like those people on X Factor can sing.
Which
is to say, not
he's
at all.
Not that bad.
He is that bad.
He is quite a showman.
He's not a showman. He looks like a bloke that they found at a bus stop and they said, here, I'll prance about on stage for a bit. We know you can't do much, but just run around and gurn. It's just awful. Rubbish. and this is directed at you, Lucy, and the camera will swing to the audience of a Robbie Williams gig, and every single member of that audience is a woman.
Yeah.
No blokes at all.
You occasionally see the odd bloke who looks thoroughly miserable.
Dragged there by his girlfriend. Yeah. And this might sound the most outrageously sexist thing you've ever heard, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway.
Oh, no.
Music that girls buy is almost by definition rubbish. Am I right, Alex?
Correct.
I can't believe you get away with saying that.
Well, I think they go on their emotions and if the guy's good looking or not. That's
yes.
Yeah.
He's a cheeky chappy.
Yeah, and they imagine that he's singing to them. Yeah.
Awful. Anyway, we've got a break to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, how many hours is it going to take me to get through this story about Christmas lights? We'll come back.
Nick Abbott.
It's a good idea to get someone else's opinion.
Just sorting the papers out. There's so big, so many of them. Huge. I'd say 90% of the papers are thrown away completely. No one reads 90% of the Sunday papers. Am I right?
Especially the motoring section.
No, that's almost the first thing I read. Jeremy Clarkson's in the motoring section.
That's why I don't read that bit. It's boring.
I only buy the Sunday Times for two people, really. Well, three at most. Four things.
4 things out of it you like.
A.A. Gill, who's always about the best written columnist around. His restaurant review in that silly style section, which just gets dafter with every passing week.
And you always like to check what's in and what's out, don't you?
Yeah, right. And then he does the TV thing. And even if you haven't seen the programmes that he's writing about, it's still amusing. And then Jeremy Clarkson is huffing and puffing. He's painted himself into a corner. I wonder how he's going to do this, because he's, with each passing week, he was trying to paint himself as the anti-environmentalist.
Yeah.
And the entire country was behind him, laughing and, because right enough, it is funny. His writing is funny. But I think the country's not behind him anymore. People don't think like that anymore, and it's changed on a penny we turned around.
Yeah, now we're laughing on the other side of his face.
And so he's not got a breadth of opinion behind him. He's not got the weight of public approval anymore. So I bet he starts to change tune after a while.
Especially when they start to work out his carbon emissions for all the cars he drives.
Isn't it true that something like, and I don't know the exact figure, so I'll just pull one from space, 80% of the greenhouse gas greenhouse gases come from the wrong end of a cow? Isn't that correct?
I don't know about the exact percentage that you mentioned.
80%. Can you believe that?
They must be spending all day doing it.
That's exactly
You
what
never
they
hear
do.
it.
Why do cows have such a big...
I grew up in the countryside and I never heard it.
Right.
Really?
Silent,
I heard a
silent but
horse,
violent.
but not cow.
Oh dear. Why is that different to a horse?
I don't know.
Or
I said I
a
heard
deer,
a horse once driving past. I heard.
But
a
if they're the
horse,
same size animal, then surely the flatulence should be the same.
I'm glad that you've taken this topic and have run with it, Lucy.
Sorry.
Your eyes are alight. This is the first thing I've said tonight that you've actually been interested in.
That is not true.
Right. The Observer.
Boring.
The gay issue.
Right. What's the issue?
What's at issue?
What's the issue?
It's in the music magazine. The music magazine gay issue. Elton John meets Jake Shears from Scissor Sisters. They're not gay, are they? Liza Minnelli, K.D. Lang, Neil Tennant, Will Young. What a dispiriting list that is. Is that the best they could come up with?
I take it the food magazine wasn't attached to the Observer this week.
What? So you read the food magazine, right? All these delicious recipes. You probably watch Heston Blumenthal on BBC Two.
I haven't seen that, and I wish I had. I did read a good article the
That
other week.
bloke's a nutter.
Why?
He's absolutely off his chump. He made he made ice cream with liquid nitrogen. Who the hell's going to do that?
Well, I suppose it's taking food in another direction.
Yeah, an insane direction. No one is going to follow any of those recipes. That's crazy. In fact, I did try to follow one of his recipes. It was printed in
Oh, so you did?
in the Sunday. Well, it said this is the best treacle tart that has ever been invented, and it's so simple. They said, and so I made it, and it was awful.
What was in it?
Utterly inedible. Well, you know, just like pastry and
Oh, nothing extraordinary.
and treacle syrup.
Treacle.
What do they call that stuff? Golden syrup.
syrup.
Yeah. What is that? Just liquid
It's
sugar.
just, yeah. But I think it's not refined sugar, which is why it gets the golden
Well,
colour.
there's nothing refined about it. Treacle tart, no. Especially getting it off your teeth afterwards.
Very slimming.
It was hideous. So that was a total failure. And, you know, all these ridiculous lengths.
Was
to
it
which-
bad because the recipe was bad? Or did something go wrong?
No, I followed the recipe to the word.
Okay.
So the recipe was bad.
The recipe was bad.
Just like every recipe that's ever been written is bad, apart from
not
those
true.
written by the Blessed Delia, who's the only one that you can actually follow.
And Jamie. I keep telling you about
no, I keep
Jamie's.
telling you that it's wrong. Jamie Oliver, what Jamie Oliver knows about food, you could write on the back of a stamp.
That is not true. That is just not true at all. I went to the same catering college as Jamie.
All right, well, it didn't do you any good, did it?
How rude!
So do you actually cook from scratch? Never, right?
Yeah, I do.
Is that a no?
Regularly, I do.
She's saying no, isn't she, Alex?
I'm not saying no.
I'm not getting involved.
I must say,
Domestic.
since I've moved house, I haven't been able to do as much cooking as I'd
Right.
like.
So, like I said, no.
No, but I do. But
Is
I've
that
got my
someone
new
stole your
oven.
cooker?
Well, the cooker has gone. New cooker was in yesterday.
Right.
So now I can get
Do you
going
cook
on
with
it.
gas or lecky?
Lecky.
See, that's a non-cook speaking right there. How can you cook with electricity?
I can, because the hob must be gas. So that's fine. But the oven
Right.
must be electric. With
Is that
the fan.
right?
Yeah.
Because it cleans itself.
Cleans itself.
It's pyromaniacal.
Only if you upgrade to those ones. Otherwise, if you buy the cheap ones, they don't clean themselves.
Well, I wouldn't think so, no. Why would they? The money you've spent.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Well, there we go.
Yes, and he's making sausages with bread-infused water. The bloke's off his mind. No one's going to do that. It takes 3 days to cook lunch. he's crazy. You'd starve to death.
But they have worked out some interesting pairings, haven't they, with food that people never would have tried before?
Yes, mostly because it's disgusting.
Like strawberries with balsamic vinegar and strawberries with pepper. Have you tried that?
No, well, that's mild compared to the stuff he comes out with.
Yeah, sure.
Snail ice cream. I mean, who would want to eat that?
Snail porridge, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I rest
wouldn't
my
fancy it.
face. Snail. Who wants snails for breakfast?
Well, I don't like snails anyway, but lots of people do.
Some
Do you like snails?
wiggly worm first thing in the morning loose. Hideous.
That's to her husband.
See, now, Alex, that was awful. We were thinking it.
You could think.
It was uncalled
but we
for,
weren't
Alex.
saying it.
Sorry.
The Sunday Times. The Sunday Times. Why a white Christmas will now be a matter of opinion. For 4 decades, it has retained a simplicity cherished by those who appreciate the traditional values of Christmas. But the tried and tested means by which the Met Office decides whether it is a white Christmas has become the latest victim of a ceaseless march of progress. Because people put bets on this every year. Is it going to be a white Christmas?
Oh, it's so boring, isn't it? Every year we have to go over this.
Yes. And all because of some silly song by
Bing Crosby.
Bing Crosby. Yeah, that's right. The Child Beater. You remember Bing, don't you? He's dead, Liz. It's all right. Didn't he used to famously beat his children? Or am I thinking of someone else?
I don't know. That's obviously something that's passed me by.
But they're trying to test it. Instead of a trained scientist watching for... They do not have a trained scientist watching for a flake of snow falling on the roof of the Met Office.
That's
do they?
just stupid.
On Christmas Day? What's just standing up there with a flask of coffee?
You could probably get
waiting
double
for a
pay.
flake. The process will now involve the use of radar.
Oh, dear.
It's just silly. This is the front page of the Daily Telegraph. They've lost their minds. The Daily Express. Win a £25,000 MG. Now, see, that's the sort of thing you want to be giving away with a newspaper. Not the greatest hits of the stylistics, which no one would ever play. Read, the gloves come off. Home Secretary talks tough on terror in bid to be Prime Minister. Talks, I think, is the operative word. MI5, they came out with this doom-laden report about how we're all going to die because they can't cope. Was this the same organisation that said that the Finsbury Mosque was a super place and could carry on regardless, all the while the French government was asking us to shut it down? Its fame had spread beyond our borders, telling us how bad that was, and we were saying, oh no, there's nothing, no problem there, you carry on, we said. Yeah, we'll get tough on, sure we will. And they're letting you take liquids back on planes now.
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
Has the threat
know.
receded?
Well, I thought it hadn't at all.
Exactly. So they're not taking it seriously at all, which makes you wonder why MI5 came up with that this week. And unless you were listening 2.25 hours ago, my position was, I suspect it's because they're at the end of their financial year. And they've put forward a gigantic hike in their budget, which Gordon Brown will look askance at, unless they have the weight of public opinion behind them. Just a theory.
You know when they remove the so that you can now take liquid on board?
Yes.
Is that only from this country, or does then that apply everywhere?
Europe-wide, I believe.
Right. So if you were flying to the UK from Australia, would you be allowed to bring liquid?
I've got no idea. That's not likely to happen anytime soon, is it?
Well, I just mean if you're taking your basic liquid, or if I was to fly off to Australia tomorrow, I'd be fine then, because it's not Europe. Is that true?
No, I thought you'd be leaving from here, so you'd have to comply by the law.
So if I had
in
a
all
child
its majesty.
that I needed to feed,
yes,
it's tough.
Yes, they would rather it died.
Right.
In order to protect it.
Well, that's a much better idea.
I mean, does anybody seriously think that if you were getting on a plane in, say, Ibiza, or one of the Greek islands, that they would be giving rigorous controls to what you take on and off? I mean, of course they won't.
They should diminish the liquids from there, though, or to there.
There's no such thing as security. I can remember I went to, was it Ibiza, or one of the Greek islands, and there must be some sort of law where you have to have a luggage carousel of some kind. And you get off the plane and you walk from the plane to this tiny building, which sort of looks like one of those porta cabins that they put up on building sites for people to go in and brew a cup of tea. And we walked in, and they started this this luggage carousel, which I swear was 15 feet long, and somebody came in and put the luggage on one end, and it just trundled past you 15 foot and fell off the other end. So, yeah, they'll have rigorous security in places like that. There's no such thing as security. Here's the front page of the Sunday Times. Good evening, Sydney. Kylie's back. This isn't news. Kylie Minogue. She was in the news all day long. I mean, I was on a rock station playing loud metal music, and the news on the hour was Kylie Minogue has just said, "Good evening, Sydney," in a thrilling new comeback. And here are 10 people who went and going to tell us how fabulous she was.
So you interspersed it with a few Kylie tracks, just to set the tone.
Kylie Minogue's return to the stage after an 18-month battle to beat breast cancer was hailed as a triumph last night by critics and fans alike. Of course they said that. What are they going to say? No, she was really rubbish. The singer wore a pink feathered headdress on top of a blah, 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 and so on and so forth. And this was the quote that was on the news as well. She started the thing with by saying, "Good evening, Sydney." Gosh, where does she come up with that kind of material? And they would even report that and put it in quotes. The Mail. Outrage at London sting by US spies. Undercover American agents are staging secret sting operations in Britain against criminal and terrorist suspects that they want to extradite to the US. Good. Because we're not doing anything about it. I'm not outraged. I'm pleased. Get on with it. What else? I'm not going to delve into the Mail because they're always outraged about something. Concocting up ways in which to make you fearful about leaving your house. The Daily Star. Kylie roars back. Oh God, she's on the front page of the Star, and the Mirror, and the News of the World, and the Peephole. Is that depressing or what?
She got a concert, has she?
Well, this is the... are you listening to this show?
Yes. I was just on the phone.
She's, it's her first concert since her battle against cancer.
Sorry.
Right.
I've caught up now.
Which is, a terrible thing, and we're all pleased that she's well and all, but Kylie Minogue... Is this news? Is she even... I mean, who cares about Kylie Minogue? Seriously.
Well...
What do her audience consist of? 11-year-old girls and 30-year-old men with short hair who should know better. Shouldn't they? Why do gay men and 11-year-old girls have the same taste in music? Can anybody explain that to me? What is that about?
I don't know.
There's always been a total mystery to me, because all those, and they're not even boy bands, are they? I mean, all these like All Saints and Girls Aloud and all that pre-pubescent girl music are also enjoyed by men in lumberjack shirts. Can anyone explain that to me?
Where the hell are my Judy Garland records, damn it?
Right, the next thing that the newspapers are going to be all over like white on rice, once no one's interested in the X Factor anymore, is I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. That's something that I've never seen.
Oh, I can't wait. You've got to watch it.
I won't.
That's got to be your next challenge. You've done Big Brother, you've got to do I'm
But
a
this is where
Celebrity.
they eat insects in the jungle,
do
right?
it.
But I won't
It's
like
good.
watching that. That's horrible.
You might enjoy watching it if you hate the celebrity enough.
Is that what it is?
That's the sick side to it, yeah.
Is that what it is? You're not liking the celebrity, you're actually hating them.
So you enjoy seeing them eat kangaroo testicles, you see?
Oh.
And then they manage to do it.
Please don't say that.
Sorry. And when they do it, you then have some newfound respect for them and you say, actually, they're all right. I'll put them up for the next tasting. You see?
Because I was coming at this from the wrong angle, obviously. I thought that people were rooting for and enjoying the people, but it's the torture part.
Well, it sort of starts off with putting the people you dislike up, and then gradually it all seems to turn around and you're, hoping that they'll manage the challenge and get past it. I mean, it is something to watch Because it's sort of almost unbearable to see rats crawling all over people in coffins and
Yes.
putting your hands in spiders and snakes and all
Or
that
because they haven't had a call from their agent in a good long while. And when he did call, they just had to say yes. I'm a celeb star, David Guest. That's that freaky-looking guy who,
Yes.
appropriately enough, was married to...
Where the hell are my Judy Garland records, damn it?
her.
She beat him up.
Well, not
Liza
her,
with
but-
a Z, not Liza with an S. I'm a Celeb Star, David Guest, is already the most unpopular jungle personality ever, and the ITV1 show hasn't even started yet. Guest 53 is being a complete pain in the backside and may have to pay by eating... Oh, no.
What?
I'm sorry about this, but this is what it says on the front page of a family newspaper, which, by the way, on the front page alone has 8 bosoms. 8.
On one person.
On one page.
Are 2 of them David's?
May have to pay by eating a kangaroo's bum in a bush tucker trial. That's what it says here.
Is it cooked?
On pages, continued on pages 2, 3, 4 and 5. That's how much news the Star found today. I mean, maybe they don't have the internet.
You would rather bum to testicle, though, wouldn't you? I would.
Oh my
Is it both cheeks?
God.
Yeah, it's just a bit meaty, it's fine.
A whole bum.
You see, I'd love to watch David Guest have to do that. That's hilarious. Tell me you're not tempted.
You two are awful.
He hasn't suffered enough with Liza.
I feel sorry for the kangaroo.
That you're the most disgusting things on this show? No one can believe it. So that's the Star. It's just utterly silly. Well, what is the personality profile of your average Star reader?
What, with their demographic?
Yeah. Somebody call me in who buys the Star. I want to talk to you. Just curious. Have we done a break yet?
No.
Nope. Well, we better have, otherwise we'll be doing 2 in a row on the Nicky Abbott Show.
Nick Abbott.
What a you been? I've been calling you all night long.
Now, I've been holding on to that because I thought, a bit near the knuckle, I thought, even though I chopped the entirety of the words out. But then I heard that trail just now, and I'm sitting here stunned. You know, things have moved on since I was fined £180 million 20 years ago. They have. I tell you what, kids, if you want to be in show business, particularly in radio, don't be the first to do anything, because they will always kill the first out of the gate. Do not be the person who starts the revolution, because you will be destroyed, and the people who come after you, they will be the ones that make all the money. Chris. Am I making myself clear? Because I was the first, really, that brought an American style of talk format to this country. And they fined me into a black hole in space. They couldn't believe it. Stunned they were. Now, I'm the mildest person on the radio, and everyone else is earning £600,000 a year by saying things that I wouldn't even dream of saying now, which are way beyond what I used to do on the air. And then those are the ones that are raking all the cash loose.
Oh dear. Well, I think it's better that we are on the side of caution.
Earning approximately, if he's earning £600,000 a year,
try not to think about it.
Then he's earning 600,000 times more than me.
That's a cheery thought,
Isn't that shocking? Well, let's be fair. He's 600,000 times funnier than I am. Actually, he was nice to me, nice about me in his book.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Right, the Mirror, Sunday Mirror. Where are we? 26:46. Out at 29:15. If you've got one of those atomic clocks at home, see if I can't do that.
Okay.
Sunday Mirror. Hey, John Terry's just signed a new contract for £27 million, which is one of the few times you've ever seen a footballer's wages in actual an annual salary amount rather than just a weekly amount? Why do they give footballers salaries in weekly amounts? I mean, what other branch of business tells you how much they're paid by the week, apart from a cleaner?
No one.
No one at all, except for footballers. Isn't that strange? I always used to wonder, now, is that 52 weeks a year? Or is it only the weeks in which they play? So I guess it must be 52 weeks a year, because they're still training.
Unless it depends.
And, you know, eating their special K, or whatever it is they do, at, when in the off-season.
Maybe it makes the amount more digestible to us mere mortals.
Exactly, I think that's exactly why they do it, yeah. Because they're not, captains of industry, they're not middle-class businessmen, they're mostly working-class oiks, who are good with their feet. And so, people who are of their ilk might balk at a figure like £27 million a year.
So what does that break down to for a week?
Well, it
probably goes on to give the weekly amount, hourly amount.
John Terry is set to become the highest-paid British footballer of all time as he finalises a new 4-year contract worth a staggering £27 million. Chelsea skipper's per-week deal is 130 grand a week.
That's just ridiculous, isn't it? 130 grand a week. But the thing is, he probably doesn't get paid weekly, it's probably monthly. Which must look even nicer when it drops into your bank account.
I'm sure he doesn't even see it. He'll have people who organise that for him.
I suppose so.
Scrooge Fairpack Boss 2000. This hamper thing goes and goes. Anything on the inside? Kylie. Oh, Struth. There's David Guest with his great swinging man boobs. We're going to be seeing a lot more of those, Luz.
Oh, I can't wait.
Recent violent deaths in your area. Here's Posh. What is it with... how come the Sun... oh, I'm out. See, I didn't make it.
This from 7090900973.
Come on, we're running late!
Right, I've got 3 papers to go. I don't know whether... sometimes you see a story and you think, I'll just read it out on the air, but then you think, you know what, it might not be true. I know this comes as a shock to some people, but the papers do actually print stuff that's not true. They just sit around and make it up on a slow news day. I knew a journalist once who said, on a really slow day, you can make a front-page headline of your choice, and it's as easy as this. You'll call up the Houses of Parliament... No, better. You'll call up Buckingham Palace... and say, is it true that Prince Charles is having a relationship with a donkey? And they'll say, don't be so silly, of course not. And your headline is, Palace denies...
That is ludicrous.
And there's your story right there. And it's the kind of page that you'd pick up, right? That's how they do it.
Crazy.
Is it one phone call and there's your front page? Freddie Starr ate my hamster. Stuff like that. That's the life of a journalist right there. Why West End superstar turned into a drug-addled wreck with a fading career. It's another one of these take drugs and you'll turn into a shivering junkie in an alleyway story. Shocked aide Jules Braconnier last night lifted the lid on her 8 years of hell working for cocaine-crazed star... Guess.
Cocaine what? Star?
Cocaine-crazed star.
Yeah.
Guess who?
Well, should I be guessing?
Well, I don't know whether it's in the Peephole, and that is a paper of record, so...
Male or... Oh, it's female, you said.
He's a male.
He's a male. Any clues?
West End superstar.
West End superstar. Michael Bolton.
Australian.
Jason
Donovan.
Well, that's what it says here. Now, are we to believe this?
I certainly don't believe it.
Shall I stop there?
Probably.
This is one of those stories that splashed on pages 4 and 5, and in 6 weeks' time there'll be a minute correction on page 86 saying, sorry about that, yeah, everything we said...
I am very sorry that I screwed up. Totally I am so sorry. You just don't know how sorry I am. I'm sorry.
A small amount has been paid to his favourite charity. Sorry about that. So I'll just, we'll just forget that one.
You go on a sex with sheep.
Oops, I vid it again. Superstar Britney Spears was facing a mega divorce payout last night because she did it again and again and again on her honeymoon video. Dumped Kevin has been touting the 4-hour tape for sale.
What?
And has already been offered £26 million.
Oh, no.
4 hours?
God.
I mean, you'd want a break for, lunch, wouldn't you? Like a cricket match. Break for tea. 4 hours?
Wouldn't you have thought, though?
No.
If you could see you were going to get divorced and you'd been foolish enough to make a 4-hour tape, that maybe you should destroy it before?
I wonder if it has a plot.
Or a beginning, a middle and an end of any sort.
One close pal said, this vid is dynamite and Kev knows it. And the News of the World can also reveal that Britney slapped divorce papers on Federline after she caught him in a bedroom with another woman. Britney fears the raunchy footage will destroy her wholesome image.
Wholesome?
Wholesome?
Oh, no.
Oh, please. She's a pole dancer, isn't she? She's like a stripper. A wholesome image.
Oh.
Here's a woman whose entire career was, it was based on 2 notes. Dun, dun, dun. 2 of the greatest notes in pop music history, by the way. That is a fantastic song. There's no getting around it. Wasn't hers, of course. She didn't write it. But her whole appeal was as a large-breasted, highly sexualized, available schoolgirl. Yes. And the whole world, the whole male the population of the world sat there with its tongue out. Didn't we?
She doesn't
Alex
look as good as she's got older.
I'm just drooling away.
Oh, no.
Isn't that shocking? That's what that was?
Well, yeah. But she hasn't aged so well, I don't think. Do you think, although so recently she's just lost some weight and is sort of smartening herself up now the old divorce is looming? You
see, this is what I meant when I said a little while ago that all women hate all other women. You are the worst critics.
I do not.
Of the worst critics of women are women. Picky, picky, picky.
No, I think we're the same about men as well.
No, you're not.
It's not exclusively to women.
You wouldn't say of a man in his 30s always put on a bit of weight.
If he let himself go, yeah, I would. I'd say, oh, look, he's a right old slob now.
What, like Sean Connery, you mean?
No, like David Guest. Not that he was ever anything to write home
exactly.
about.
But you wouldn't say it about, like, Sean Connery
well, no, because
or...
he looks terribly distinguished as he's got older.
But he still let himself go. He ain't got no 30-inch waist anymore, has he?
The problem is, most men tend to look better, I think, as they get older, whereas women don't look so good, unfortunately. Not all women.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would that be?
Because men just seem to age better, I think. Even if they're grey, it doesn't matter. They can still look good, or balding. Whereas women, we get a bit wrinkly, it all hangs down.
Well, sort of. Men is exactly the same, but at least that's something that we can hold on to, Alex?
Yeah.
Hope for the future.
Whereas me, I'll just become, horribly old and crusty.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Meanwhile, Alex and I, our beauty will improve with each passing day.
As I see each week.
Yes, that's right. Thanks for mentioning it. So that's the news of the world. People will be desperately scouring the internet for the 4-hour-long hot Britney sex tape, which will be on a download site near you soon. Posh, I fear for my David in the Sunday Mirror. Finally. Like I was saying before the new news, the Sun has, bizarrely, decided that Posh Spice is the greatest woman on the in the world. Every day there is a full-page picture of Posh Spice with an article about how fabulous she is, and her hair is... What was that noise?
Lucy's phone.
I don't know.
Is that your phone?
No.
Should that not be on vibrate?
I have to leave it on.
Why?
Because I'm on call.
What, a nurse?
I'm a nurse, if anything happens.
On call?
Yeah.
But you're in work?
Yeah.
Where would you be called to? Yes?
That's a very good... Well, what if somebody should need to ring me about a matter that's very urgent?
Yeah.
right now.
What, at 20 to 1?
Yeah, like, stop saying that, or stop Nick talking about that dreadful story.
Oh, do you want to take that then?
No, it's not. No, it's just a bleepage. It's fine.
A bleepage?
Well, it'll go away.
What does that mean?
It's just a text.
Oh, a text.
I'm trying not to, highlight the fact that it's gone off.
Well, you better take it. Just have a little read of your little text there, Luce. One of your chums has sent you a message. It's 20 to 1. What the hell do they want?
They're obviously having a good time.
Go on, have a little read. I'll wait. It's a live show.
Oh, it's my mother.
Oh, right.
She doesn't know who David Guest is.
Is your mum listening?
Yeah, obviously. Who's David Guest?
This is Lucy. I am so sorry for everything that I have said up until now. I am appalling, and I treat your daughter with such disrespect.
It's true.
I is disrespecting her. She's a tremendous human being, and it's almost as though I don't mind that she's only a girl.
Well, you can put up with it for a few hours.
Anyway, Victoria Beckham fears that husband David will struggle to cope when his football career ends. And there's a picture of him looking pensive. And David Beckham looking pensive, his features would have been arranged in that way, probably because, his underwear's riding up? I mean, he's not thinking great thoughts, is he? The former Spice Girl has revealed her concern over how he will fill his time when no longer a soccer superstar. But Victoria, 32, claims that unlike Bex, she has already come to terms with the prospect of life out of the public eye. To be in their position, that's all I would want, is to leave the house and not be recognised.
Yeah.
I think that would be a living hell to be that famous.
Yeah, I do too.
Or just to be in any way famous, just to be on television is just... And I'm shooting myself in the foot and killing my career stone dead. I will never amount to anything in this business because I will not go on television. I wouldn't know what to do on television.
That could have been you after The Jungle on Monday.
Yeah.
With David.
I know, and by this time next year I'd have been a millionaire. People would have been fighting for my services.
And all you'd had to have done is eat a kangaroo's testicle.
Exactly. But I won't do it. For this simple and good reason that no matter what you do for the rest of your life, you will always be that bloke on whatever programme you've just appeared on. People who've been on Blue Peter may become the head of the United Nations, and he will still be that bloke on Blue Peter. Forever.
Would you really be that
John
bothered,
Noakes,
though?
Peter Purvis, all of those people. I mean, that was 30 years ago they were on that programme, and they're still that bloke from Blue Peter.
Yeah, but that's not so bad, is it? Well, it's better than being someone from X Factor or Big Brother, isn't it?
The thing about fame is people take an irrational like or dislike to you. And the like could be almost as annoying as the dislike. I mean, no matter where you go, people are pawing you and wanting a bit of you and taking your time, and they think that they know you, of course. I mean, we all do this. We all think that because they've been in our living room, that they're a part of our lives, and because the human brain is wired such that if you see someone's face all the time, you act as though, or feel that you have a relationship with this person, because most of the time you do. You see someone's face a lot, that means, you're either interacting with them, or they're breaking into your house over and over and over again. And the judge is setting them free, constantly, because of a look of true remorse, some excuse they'll come up with like that. But if they've been on your TV, you've invited them into your front room, and so you see them in real life, and you treat them almost without without conscious thought, like they're a friend.
I know.
You just walk straight up to them. People that have been on TV have people walking straight up to them all the time. Now, if you walk around Britain's streets or you're on public transport, which is, of course, something you would never be able to take again.
Apart from Ken.
Yeah. Does he walk around with minders? You'd think he would, because people would be shouting at him in the street all the time,
I would have thought so.
Well, I've got a couple of things I'd like to shout at him right now. How's your trip, for instance? Do anything useful, stuff like that. But you walk around the street as an ordinary human being, and people look at you for one of two reasons. Either they want to shoot a 4-hour sex video with you, or they want to hit you.
Yeah.
But if you're famous, there's a third one, and you don't know which it is. It's because they recognise you and want to shoot a 4-hour sex video with you, or they recognise you and they want to hit you. And
or they recognise you and they think that they actually...
They actually do know
met you before.
Yes. Oh, I've done that loads of times.
That's awful. Hi.
Because I forget people anyway. I don't know anyone's name. I forget my mum's name. Hello, Nicholas, it's me. Can you remind me? But it just throws that extra thing in there, and if you went into a restaurant and there was a famous person sitting there, you wouldn't be able to take your eyes off them. You imagine what that's like. It'd be a nightmare. So the only way that it would be comfortable is if you got as rich as these people, so you could insulate yourself from the world.
Yes.
The worst thing is to be famous and not be able to do that. I can't think of much worse.
Well, I suppose if you've been famous and lost all your money and you can't afford the privacy, that must be pretty awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly my point. That's exactly what I just said.
Yeah.
You aren't listening to this show, are you?
But the Beckhams aren't going to have that problem, are they?
No, they're not.
Ever. And also, with Victoria being worried about David, what's she got to worry about? Because hasn't he set up these new football academies anyway? So he should be opening more and more of those up and, you know, getting into his work that way.
Well, it's either that or sitting at home rearranging the cans in his fridge.
Oh, and they've got children they've got to look after, haven't they?
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah, I mean, there are 3 of them, aren't there? I mean, most parents I know are quite busy looking after their children.
True enough. But people like that, they have people for that sort of thing, don't they? I mean, I'm sure Madonna has people to look after her children, doesn't she?
Well...
I mean, she would, like, what, change nappies? Can you imagine that? Not really, no.
I get the impression she's a bit more hands-on, though. She does talk about it quite a lot, doesn't she? Whereas you don't really hear much about David
in between the pole dancing and the stripping, yeah. Has somebody emailed you in to say to stop talking about that?
No.
Your phone will be beeping any moment now.
I've put it... It's gone silent now.
Let's have one the Finchley Road. Oh, Anthony.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm all right.
I love your sarcasm. First of all, can we do a survey? How many people listen to the news at 12:30 to listen about Madonna? Not Madonna, what's her name? The other one, Kylie.
Kylie Minogue. Are you on speakerphone?
No, I'm just... Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to work out. I had you... Hold on 1 second. Stay there 1 second. 1 second. Hold on. Oh, bear with me 1 second. No. I don't want to lose you. Hold on 1 second.
What are you doing?
Don't go anywhere, Nick. Don't go anywhere.
Oh, that's it. Have you got me now?
Well, it sounds like you, yeah.
Yes. No. I tried to put my phone on the correct speaker volume, but I'm here in the car because I was driving around hands-free, doing the right thing.
Right. Oh, well, now it's much better.
Oh, good. No, I love you because you're just the way I like the people to take the news to pieces. And I was just listening to your headlines at 12:30, and guess what? They were talking about Kylie. Now, the other thing is David Beckham. His career was over a long time ago. He's crap. Let's be honest about it.
That's a silly thing to say. You know what? When the new guy who came in to manage England, I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head. McLaren, yeah.
Yes?
He tried to stamp his authority all over the team.
Yes.
And the best way of doing that was to fire the most famous member of it. Now, is anybody seriously going to tell me that of all the players in England, David Beckham is not in the top 11? That's just a silly thing to say.
No, I don't disagree with you there. However, if you look at the performance and England as a team, till now, maybe this guy's going to change things around.
No, but thanks for playing. On the performance so far, he's just as much a disaster as the previous bloke.
Correct. He cried like Gaza did, didn't he?
He cried. Who cried?
He cried at the end of the game because he was a failure, like Gaza cried after his game.
Who, McLaren?
Not McLaren, I'm talking about Beckham.
Oh, right. No, I'm for Beckham. And you know what? The BBC had this, they've got a culture show, this programme called The Culture Show.
Yeah, go on.
Which is just awful. It's like, it's like a bunch of teenagers. No, it's worse than that. It's a bunch of 50-year-old men got around and thought, now, how can we aim a TV programme at the youth? It's like your dad dancing at a disco. It's that bad. and they came up with this list of British icons.
Yeah.
And and it was, I think, and the word icon was used incorrectly, but they were trying to get a face that has changed British, has encapsulated British culture over the past decade. I think that was their position. And the only face that fits that description is the major gap in their list, David Beckham. He's the only one that fits. Okay. But they left that out because that would have been a stupid choice, and so they chose David Bowie instead, which doesn't make any sense at all. But, you know, what do I know?
I just want to come to the final point of what the main reason I rang you. You were trying to divide 27 million by 52 weeks, which is about £470,000. But I was actually thinking it's not bad because the PAY bill is probably more than the entire LBC. I mean, it's ridiculous. You know, you listen to all this amount of money that either these people are earning, and then they get stupid things like Posse saying she's very, very sorry. I mean, she can't. All she's got to do is spend hours reading through their bank statements. I mean, it's not difficult for her to find things what to do.
Yeah, well, it would make me laugh. They must just be in hysterics every time the statement comes through the post. In fact, it must be so huge, it must be delivered by lorry.
Yeah, correct. I mean, come on, these guys, they've got no. She has got. I'm sorry to say, you know, at this time of night, I guess none of my friends are listening, so they're not going to shoot me when they see me in the morning. I mean, they got no sense of reality. I'm sorry. And your friend there, who's sitting with you, apologies, I forgot her name. But, you know, looking after 3 kids is it takes a lot of time for most mothers. I'm willing to bet that Posh doesn't get up at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning to make breakfast.
Yeah, well, you know, why do that when you have staff? But anyway, I'm way past the break, Anthony, and I have to go, all right? But thanks a lot, mate.
Good luck. I do enjoy it.
Ta-ta.
Thank you.
Have we done the break at 8? I am way behind. I looked up and I thought, you know, in my mind I thought it's about 11:30, something. I know I've just gone through the papers, but it doesn't seem, how can it possibly be past 10 to 1?
Because you're having such a lovely time.
Yeah, must be. It's the company, Luce. That's what does it.
Your endowment policy. Nick Abbott.
Hello, boys.
Bill Buckley is coming up after the new news at 1. Do we like Christmas adverts?
What sort of Christmas adverts?
Adverts on the... Well, what was
on
the first
TV?
thing that came to your mind?
Well, singy-song Christmas stuff, yeah.
Christmas Carol. Well, the Coke one, now you mentioned it earlier.
I don't think of the Coke one.
Never knew it.
Holidays are coming. Holidays are coming.
Oh, yeah.
Holidays.
Well, that's the American thing,
I
isn't
know.
it? Happy
So as not to
holidays.
upset anyone. It's Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah, I think of all the music, Christmas music albums that come out at that time. And they always do the, it's Christmas, and then all that music starts.
What, Slade?
Yeah.
And Wizard?
Yeah.
I think that the people who wrote those songs, Ron Wood and Noddy Holder, I'm assuming that Noddy wrote the... Noddy. I'm assuming that he wrote that song. What's it called?
A
wish it could... Oh, no, that's Wizard.
Every day.
It's
the other one, isn't
everyone.
it? No, it's the It's Christmas.
Oh, no. It was all spelt wrong, because Slade songs were spelt wrong. Was would be W-U-Z. Come on. Slade's, I mean, it comes around every year. And
I
has
can
done
just
for the
think of the
past
beginning
30
bit all the
years.
time.
It's,
Shall I Google it?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay. Maybe it's just called It's Christmas.
It could be, yeah. Slade songs. See, that's not going to get it. Slade Christmas songs. You're rubbish at this, Luce. Click.
It's the pressure I'm under.
It's Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. Is that what that's called?
Merry Christmas. How does it go then?
Well, you sing it. You're the professional.
I can't really think how it goes now.
Noddy Holder explains, it was a steaming hot day. To get the sound we wanted, We did some recording from the corridor, and we were singing Merry Christmas, everybody, in the middle of a sweltering summer. The Americans hanging about us were staring at us thinking, mad Englishmen, it must have seemed pretty stupid to them. Well, not stupid now. They must earn so much money from that one track. You see, all you need is a song that people are going to play on a yearly basis. Everyone should write a Christmas song, because the cheque that comes through in January is going to keep you laughing your face off all year long.
They must be so happy.
I read there's some guy who's renounced the lifestyle and become a vicar or pastor or something like that. He wrote, do you remember that crapulous song called So Macho by Sinita?
Yes.
Oh my God, is that the worst song ever recorded in the history of modern music? Yes, it is. I'll answer that for you. It's also the gayest song that's ever existed. And now he's become a preacher and is talking about, the sin of homosexuality. This guy who gets a cheque, so it said, for £10,000 a month in royalties from that song.
Still now?
Can you believe it?
Who plays it?
Good grief.
I've got no clue.
That can't be on playlists.
10 grand from that song.
Good grief.
That makes you want to kill yourself, doesn't it?
I've got the lyrics for Merry Christmas, everybody. So
Are you hanging up your stocking on your wall? It's the time that every Santa has a ball. Does he ride a red-nosed reindeer? Oh, I don't want to say anymore. Who even knew? Do shut up. Anyway, the ASA, the Advertising Standards Authority, has been inundated with complaints that Christmas ad campaigns are launching too early, and that an Argos ad suggests that Santa may not be real.
What?
The ASA started to receive complaints last week as a number of festive-themed campaigns for Boots, Woolworths and Argos rolled out almost 2 months before Christmas. I think they've actually been quite conservative this year.
Well, there's a lot of preparation for him to do, isn't there?
Several complaints label the campaigns offensive and misleading for launching so early, and say that they are socially irresponsible because of the financial pressures that Christmas brings to families. What parents have lost the ability to say no. Their little charges are running around screaming and hitting the fridge with their plastic toys because they've seen something on TV, and parents are incapable of using the word no. So that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Kids are running around.
But all year round there are kiddies' toys being advertised, aren't
yes,
there?
you just have to say no.
No.
It's easy. Other complaints centre on the fact that the advertising assault represents an over-commercialisation of what's meant to be a religious festival. Oh, come on, what's religion got to do with Christmas? Whilst we appreciate that some people will find it frustrating to see advertisements for Christmas appearing so early in the year, it is not an area that we regulate, an ASA spokesman said, because they speak in exactly the same way as the police. Can you believe that?
Was proceeding in an orderly direction.
Advertisers are able to choose when they begin their seasonal advertisements. If potential customers are aggravated, there is a risk that the advertiser must accept by aggravating their customer base by advertising Christmas too soon. So, with that, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of our listeners.